Hey guys, Foreverretro 2 here. Hope you're staying safe and being well out there. So, I have them here, my VHS collection, so I decided to show them all. And this is going to take a long time because this is a tote full of VHS tapes. There's a lot of shit to go through. So, if you have a beer, or you have water, make sure you have that, your e-cig or your cigarettes. If you just want to sit here and listen to my ASMR voice that some people say I have, I don't see that, but whatever. I've also been told, oh, you have a good radio voice. No, I don't. Anyway, we'll start off with the first one I have off the side. So this is Alice in Wonderland. Now, as you know, this format is I hold the movie and I give a brief description and then we move on. Because, I would love to show clips, but unfortunately I'm on my last copyright strike, so I can't have that. So this is probably going to be boring to some of you, and I do apologize. But if you're interested at all, thanks for hanging out. Anyway, Alice in Wonderland. This is the Disney version, as you can see, and made in the tender year of 1951. Yeah, my lazy eyes all kicking in because I just got up like an hour ago. Anyway, Alice in Wonderland, awesome movie. If I can give it a one description for it, is acid trip. It pretty much is. I mean, I dropped acid in my teens when I was younger, and now it wasn't as intense as this. I'm pretty sure if I took like 5 hits of acid, I'd be tripping balls and seeing this shit. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how I look at it, now I took 2 hits my first time, and it was pretty intense. But it wasn't like as intense as, say, Alice in Wonderland. I mean, it was fun. It's fun walking around when you're tripping on acid, though. Just make sure you're not around busy streets, because, yeah. Sometimes I remember the first time I saw a car, it looked like a mushroom, and it was driving. It was weird. It was fucking weird. And of course, if you see pattern, like pattern carpets or patterns all together, they like melt and they move and they welt and breathe. It's intense. It's pretty cool though. You'll get like interested in things you normally wouldn't get interested in your sober mind. So. Also, your mind goes into like a creative state where you get awfully creative, and that's why a lot of like cartoons and certain video games, especially in the arcade, like the birth of the arcade, were so interesting. I mean, they were simple because the tech, was limited, but at the same time they got creative because they dropped acid. I mean, what's his name? Scott Warshall. He said that they would do drugs at Atari Corporation when making games. So there you go. I mean, it shows. Anyways, so that's Alice in Wonderland. It's a good movie to watch with your kids or watch solo. It's a really fun story, and it has that classic Disney vibe with movies like Sword in the Stone, The Rescuers, the Astrocrats. I think that's how it's pronounced. Sorry, dyslexic. And yeah, so if you like classic Disney animation or classic animation in general, that is one to check out. Disney has a whole plethora of wonderful animations from that time frame because, in my opinion, Disney is no longer the magical kingdom. It's a woke shit show. So, but, what you do with your life is fine. If you still want your kids raised on Disney, that's also fine. I wouldn't recommend it, though. But you do it, you do you. Okay, the next one is a real treat. It's Spawn off the HBO series. Now, unfortunately, I only have the 3rd tape. I think there's 3 altogether. It lasted a couple seasons. You have Keith David doing the voice of Spawn. And Keith David is like Morgan Freeman. Those are 2 African-American individuals I can hear talk all day. They just have that speaking voice that is it's calming, it's relaxing, and it's dope. Keith David also did Goliath from Gargoyles. He was the voice of Goliath from that show, and he also was in, I believe, Saints Row 4, and he was on the spaceship. So if you like his voice, there's a couple things that you can check out by him. But that series has tons of nudity, tons of gore, shows a really good representation the backstory of Spawn, the character himself, and it's done in a way that it's dark as fuck. There is no sunshine. So do not watch that shit with your kids, unless you like them to watch violence. I mean, shit. I was raised on Jason Voorhees, so You know, my parents were bad people anyway, so there you go. Okay, so here's one of my recorded videos. I even tried to draw the logo. I am not much of an artist, so I apologize for the cruelty. You can laugh your dick off at this if you want. It won't bother me much. Anyways, this whole tape is devoted to... Come on. I'll have to hold it up. I don't know if you can read that. It's Thundercats. Yeah, I was trying to draw the logo, and as you can see, I did a piss poor job. I'm not much of an artist. I did like to draw when I was a teen, though, but I really sucked at it. Yeah, so this has a bunch of... It's a T80 tape, 180 tape, and the whole thing is filled with Thundercat episodes I recorded off Cartoon Network back when they first were airing. I think around the tender year of 1997. I wanted to buy a high-capacity tape and record a bunch of Thundercat episodes. I don't know exactly what episodes are on there. It's been forever, now that I have, like, the complete collection on my machine. So, I don't know. But, yeah, it's completely filled with Thundercats. Now, here's a childhood favorite I liked at school, but unfortunately, my tape, there's something wrong. What I mean by that is, it runs for 30 minutes, but just look at that. That's not 30 minutes. In the middle of the movie, it just cuts off and rewinds. So this must have been a tape that wasn't given the full amount of the film. So that's a little disappointing. Anyways, it's a claymation tale, and you guys may have heard of it. It's Rip Van Winkle. Now, Rip Van Winkle is a story about a guy who falls asleep. He wakes up and he's old. Some of his friends are dead and some of them are still alive. And he basically just goes on a reflection quest on, you know, like what happened. And I don't, you know, I wish I could give you more of a description, but it's been years since I saw the entire film. But it's a really good story. You should watch it with your children. Watch it yourself. You'll think differently about life a little bit after watching it. It's a really good tale. I would suggest that with anybody. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what this is. It's not labeled. But if this is anything to go by, this has some softcore porn from Showtime, and I think this also has Night at the Roxbury and a couple other movies from Showtime. I think I'm gonna go ahead and, just for the sake of the video, I'm gonna call this the Showtime tape. It was back when I had cable. I recorded everything that looked either interesting or I wanted as part of my collection. Okay, so something gaming related. Some of you may or may not remember these. It depends on how old you are. I don't have the box for it, but I have the label. It's a Games Players tape of Ultra games. This one had TMNT, Metal Gear, Skate or Die, and Defender of the Crown. They would give you like tips and hints on how to beat these games. And they would also give you 900 numbers to call to rack up your phone bill and have your parents yell the fuck at you. So that was nice. I use this for Metal Gear, because I already beat TMNT prior to owning this. I bought this at a 14. They had it at a clearance discount basket thing at Kmart. And I was given a gift certificate from my mom's friend at work, because she always did that when they were working together. My lazy eyes kicking in because I got up an hour ago, so there you go. Anyways, it's a good tape. The only problem I have with it is the narrator is dry as a bone. He's probably reading from a script. Yeah, I mean, there's no other way I mean, if I was to, you know, I would read from a script, but I would show some enthusiasm, for fuck's sake. But I think the purpose of that is so you have it easier to understand strategy on what they are trying to explain. Some of their tips are actually legit, some of them not so much. Some of them I already knew. Like when you're in a Technodrome and you fight those guys that shoot lasers at you, if you just step forward once and duck, when they shoot their lasers at you, they won't bother you at all. I can't get to the Technodrome these days, though. I've been trying because I want to. Because see, I want to beat that game again for the sake of my channel, and I will hopefully get to that. I can't make any promises because the older I get, sorry about that. Windows 10 is being Windows 10. So with Ninja Turtles, yeah, I mean, I beat that game with a friend, and that was back when I was 9 years old. I'm 39 now, so it's been a long time, and the older I get, I notice the worse I become at video gaming, and that's unfortunate. But I'm going to try my best to get better as time progresses. So I do hope to beat Turtles again and get it on for my channel, I hope. So I just need to find the time, obviously. I mean, you say, oh, you have time right now. Yeah, I don't have a CRT. I could play it on emulator, but I'm telling you guys right now, emulation has bad latency. I mean, I don't have the same response times. At least I can't see it anyway. Could just be me. I don't know. Because last time I played on my television, I was doing as good as I normally do. But when I play it on emulator, it's different. So, okay, this one's labeled. Now, I borrowed this, right? I borrowed this, but he never wanted it back. Anyways, it has 3 Beavis and Butthead tapes. I'll show you the label. It's made with... It's horrible. I know it looks all pissed on and whatever. He used masking tape for it, but it's Beavis and Butthead, In the Final Judgment, There Goes the Neighborhood, and Work Sucks. It's from those VHSs. So, you have, like, I want to say 6 hours worth of Beavis and Butthead content on here, or close to that amount. And, yeah, he even called it Beavis and Butthead Tape 1. Apparently he made more, but he didn't. I never borrowed those. But, yeah, he never asked for them back. So, you know what? I just kept it. And I always ask him, do you want your Beavis and Butthead tape back? No, I'm good. So, apparently, I guess that was a passive way of telling me, hey, bro, you can keep the tape. I don't give a fuck. So, it's like... Alright, so now we're moving on to the next video in the pile of foreverness. Anyways, Ernest goes to camp, or not camp. Sorry, Ernest goes to jail. So this is really funny, especially if you're a fan of Jim Varney and his Ernest character. Rest in peace. This one's pretty funny. Eventually, in jail, he's supposed to die of electrocution. Not, spoiler alert, obviously. And he gets like electrical power, and he can like zap people and shit, and a lot of funny shit just happens in the whole movie. It's, Jim Varney, it's Ernest, and also the female character. I don't remember the name. I do apologize for my ignorance. But if you like any Ernest movie, that's definitely the one to watch. There's also another one to watch, which I will show as soon as I find it in my collection. I thought it was on top, but I guess I'm wrong. Anyways, let's continue. Now, I haven't seen this yet, so this doesn't count. But anyways, remember how I told you I got DVDs in people's trailers back when we lived at the old place? Well, same thing goes for VHS. So basically, this is the X-Files movie. I've never seen yet, but I've seen the series, or X-Files series, some of it, and it's really cool. I wish it would have lasted as long as Law and Order has, but it just... Because X-Files is more interesting. I mean, like... The thing I didn't like about Law and Order is you had to come up with your own ending. I don't like that. Kind of like how Sopranos ended. You had to come up with your own ending. It's stupid. We like to be told what happens to a character or what happens to certain characters without being left in the dark. You have to come up with your own ending. No, fuck you. I hate that. I hate that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to film. Classic Atari game. And it was released the year I was born, 1982. E.T. Yep, E.T. I bought this at the resale shop by my house that used to be known as Thrift Fair, and it became Salvation Army. They were selling tapes for 50 cents that day, so I made out like a bandit, and I bought a bunch of them. So, yeah, basically, this is one of them I bought. It's about E.T. It's E.T., of course, if you haven't seen it already. I mean, mostly, I don't know what the fuck you've been since. It's about an alien that makes his way to Earth and makes a friend with Elliot, and then Elliot works on getting him back home. And they get in a lot of shenanigans along the way that makes it fun and entertaining, and it's one of Drew Barrymore's first movies. She was a kid then, so. But I don't like her from here. She's too whiny, too kiddish. I mean, that's fine. I liked her in Firestarter, though. Now, if you've never seen Firestarter, that's a movie where she gets so pissed off, and anything she focuses her pissed off on somebody or something and sets it on fire. I wish we had that ability in real life. There'll be a lot of fires, I'm sure, especially with Karens running around. God damn, they're going overboard. I wish that was the legal way to be, but that would be, I guess, some form of communism, I suppose. Land of the free isn't always free. I can tell you that right now. But yeah, I don't have Firestarter. I need to find that on VHS or on DVD. That's a great movie. A lot of people hate it. I don't give a shit. Let's see. Well, unfortunately, I can't tell you what this one is. It's in a Bassif 120 tape. It's not labeled at all, so I can't tell you what this is. And I don't know which one that is, so I'll have to get back to you on that. I told you some of these are just not labeled, and it's unfortunate. Okay, now I do have the first one of this that we'll run into as soon as I get into the box. But I have the sequel here. It's Wizards of the Lost Kingdom 2. Now here's something funny. There's the first one, but did you know that this is actually a trilogy? And I will tell you, this is the most B fucking fantasy movie that you'll see during this time frame. No joke. You have these really corny, cheesy, and even like there's a sword fight at the end of the movie where the guy like he goes to swing a sword, but it looks like he wasn't supposed to. This movie is bad. It's really bad. But if you like that cheese, like bad cheese, I don't think you can get any worse than this. But there was a movie that preceded the first two, because there's a story that happens in the beginning of the first movie that precedes the movie before it that I didn't know existed. That movie was called Sorceress. Now, the funny thing about Sorceress is that was made by HBO, home media, while these were made by Media. Now, every time you saw this logo, you knew, if you've seen a lot of their movies, there's a lot of swearing, there's a lot of, excuse me, my allergies are fucking up. There's a lot of swearing and nudity, right? I don't remember being too much nudity, but I don't think my camera will show this up. But you'll see in this side, yeah, you see his side titty shot. So there probably is nudity in this. I did see this once, but, you know, that's funny. It shows a side titty shot. And look at the rating. It's PG. It requires some parental... Well, there's blood. Not very much of it. It's not very good, though. Don't even bother. Unless you want to watch something really bad. Like, if you want a bad movie night with friends, or a bad movie night when you say you got yourself a six-pack, you could do worse than this, but that still should be in the list of movies you guys plan on watching that night. Or chicks, depending on who you choose to hang out with. Well, guys, another Thundercats tape. I got two of the son bitches. I should have just called this Volume 2. I might do that. Yeah, I recorded it in EP mode. That way I got more screen time. So yeah, more Thundercats. That's all. There's not really much I can say. I mean, come on, guys. I'm a fucking Thundercats fanboy. I mean, I don't like Roar. In fact, in my mind, Roar does not exist, okay? I can't stand the shit. I look at it, and I can't read the label off of this. Oh, okay. This is a very worn out. It looks like it's been pissed on, but there you go. You probably can't read that, but if you can, you know, props to you. I'll tell you what it says. It says Paperboy and Voltron. Why does it say those things? I recorded myself just fucking around on Paperboy, you know, breaking windows and shit, and it was funny to me. The first one on the NES. And of course I recorded The New Adventures of Voltron. I would get up at 6 or 7 o'clock it's Saturday morning and record Voltron, because that's when it was appearing. They're like, why don't you program your VCR to record? I could never figure that function out. It would never work. And it always pissed me off, because it's like, man, it's Saturday, I don't have to go to school, awesome, I can sleep in, but, you know, no, I gotta get up and record in Voltron. So I would get up, smoke a couple cigarettes, and drink a cup of coffee at fucking 13. No, I was 14. 14, and I watched Voltron, and then sometimes I would go back to sleep, other times I'd stay up for about 3 or 4 hours, see if my mom needs me to do anything, and if not, I would go take a nap or go play some Super Nintendo. Yeah, I'm going to vape a lot, because, well, this is going to be a long one. Instant animation classic, Charlotte's Web. The only movie that I can think that even arachnophobics would cry over at the end of this movie. It was very depressing. Anyways, it's about a spider that meets a pig named Wilbur and helps him out because he was going to become Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. I don't remember which. And she would help him by writing like things like some pig and other things in the web, giving praise to Wilbur. Wilbur is that pig in the front right there. You also get to meet other animal creatures, and they talk and stuff, and it's... I mean, this was made in the tender year of 1973. 3 years before my wife was born. Fuck me. This is old. That's okay, though. To me, old is gold. To you, it's old as garbage. Fuck off. Your trash is my treasure. Right, so. And other people's treasure, of course. But yeah, Charlotte's Web is an excellent movie. It's an anime classic. If you haven't watched it, don't watch that remake. What the fuck? Why is there a McDonald's fucking logo on this goddamn box? What is this? Purchased at McDonald's. So some schmuck bought this at McDonald's. It wasn't me. No. It wasn't me. I mean, yeah, I'm fat. Don't get me wrong. But I did not buy this at McDonald's. I bought this at the resale shop. This is I remember. I saw it there. This and E.T. were the first boxes I grabbed because I love Charlotte's Web. This is a great movie, awesome classic. Definitely watch with your children if you have any, or watch them by yourself because this is a true awesome classic. I really love this movie. I never read the novel though, but I heard the novel is a little bit more has a little more in it, much like the Home Alone novel did. I did read that. I had to read that in school and do a book report. That was stupid. I don't know if you can read that. It's Thundercats. Moving on. Told you I was a fanboy. I don't. Oh boy. Oh. Okay. Well, this is fair. Many people like this. Many people don't like it. They call it a Ernest Goes to Camp ripoff, but it also has some plot points that aren't touched on, so you can't really follow it. But it has some funny moments. I liked it. It's Daniel Stern in Bushwack. So yeah, it's a funny movie. It's about let's see. It's about Daniel Stern plays a character who is basically was working with the mafia or something, and they made him do like bitch jobs, and they end up framing him. But anyways, he portrays himself as one of the camp counselors that that he was initially hired to watch. Now there was supposed to be another guy. His name was Spider, because he could climb walls without any kind of equipment. I can't remember who he starred by. Anyway, so Daniel Stern plays a Spider, so he's not caught by the cops and mafia and all that. So because he's wanted by the cops as well. So because he's a thief, you'll see that throughout the film, especially in the intro. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else I can give you. Yeah, it's a group of kids hanging with him, and some funny shit happens, shenanigans. One of my favorite clips in the movie is the whole poem he recites while the kids are pissing off the cliff. He's like, "Shake your lizard, let it drain, move your hips and spell your name, send it loose and send it hard. Now have a sword fight. Don't do that, because if you cross swords, you're gay. And say on guard. Eat your veggies, eat your starches." I can't remember the rest. Something about pull the arches. He's like, "Okay, let's flip and zip and go." And then he's like, "Okay, flip and zip and let's go." And then you hear the cop down below. Like, the kid's like, "Hey, Spider, we just pissed on some guy's head." It has a little funny moments in there. Oh, especially you gotta watch the part where he tells the kids about the birds and the bees. That is probably the most elaborate, my way of doing things when it comes to sex, anyway. It's a funny movie. It's not great, no, by any stretch of imagination. But I like it. Personally, I like the movie, and I watch it from time to time. But as a movie that is like considered wonderful and great and, you know, classic, no. I like Daniel Stern too. I've been a fan of his since Home Alone. You know, I didn't know of Daniel Stern's filmography until Home Alone. I also didn't know anything about what's his nuts. Forget. Let's just move on. Home Alone's a good movie too. I don't own the VHSs. Those were my mother's. I had to leave them with her. So there you go. Now this one is a Rankin Bass classic. This is really good. It's another animated film because I like cartoons. I'm a 39-year-old. Well, my aunt, who passed away at 52 or 53. She was a cartoon lover too at that age, so she loved the animation. But this one is a good one. Obviously, I think it's more tailored to women other than men, but I still like it because I'm a big Rankin Bass fan. I mean, I like Frosty the Snowman and Thundercats, Silverhawks, and all that. Anyways, The Last Unicorn. Now, I bought this at my matter of fact. Let me see if the sticker is still on it. Okay, that's not the right sticker. I was sad. I was hoping to see a Skips video sticker to show. But yeah, The Last Unicorn. It's about a unicorn that is... She's the last unicorn, obviously, as the movie implies. She becomes a princess and meets a prince. Falls in love with him. Her job is to free the other unicorns that has been trapped in the ocean, in the waves. It's weird. I don't know how that works, but okay. By some wizard. And so it's nice. It has a nice fantasy setting, and it has the song "The Last Unicorn" by the band America in it. So that's a good song. There's been covers all over YouTube, and some of them are really good, and some of them are dog shit. So, take your pick. Awesome animated classic. Watch with your kids, watch by yourself, whatever. Hey. Now, this came out with a sequel recently, which I refuse to watch because anything from Hollywood, or what I call wokewood these days, people call it Hollyweird too. It came out with the sequel, but I always remember the original because the original was awesome, and that is, of course, Top Gun. Top Gun is basically, okay, I'm pretty sure some of you know what Iron Eagle is, and don't tell me because Johnny Lawrence, or William Zach, but whatever his fucking last name is, likes the movie. Okay, I watched Iron Eagle when I was younger, and it was really good, but I still prefer the first Top Gun over the first Iron Eagle. Now, the other two Iron Eagle movies I prefer over Top Gun, but that's because, hey, they had time to, learn the formula and see what works. But, yeah, they came out with Maverick recently of Top Gun, and basically it's dogfighting with planes, and there's some stories, there's plot points, like I said. When I explain these, I don't want to give too much away, because it's just, that's not my place. But, yeah, you have Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis in this is actually pretty hot. But yeah, just like all women and men, we fall apart in age. It's a good dogfighting movie. It has some good stories. You also have Val Kilmer in there as, I think his name was Spider. It's been a while since I watched that movie, so forgive me. Classic. And it's also the third movie of the Evil Dead series. Yes, Army of Darkness with Bruce Campbell. This is my boomstick! From Grand Rapids, Michigan. I always like that part, because, well, I think he said, did he say Grand Rapids? I don't want to say it. It wasn't Kalamazoo. No, I'm getting, anyways, it's been a while since I watched this too. Great movie. It's basically the third of the Evil Dead series, and it has some real fun moments, good action and gore and blood, and, of course, who can forget the man with the chainsaw hand? Yeah, I have not seen this in like a very long time, but it's really good. Any fan of the Evil Dead or Bruce Campbell films will definitely enjoy that. Like I said, if I could remember more, I would give you more. But basically, Evil Dead is an interesting series that I can never really wrap my head around the plot. The second one was funny, though, because he got his hand cut off and his hand would, like, give him the finger and shit. That one was pretty fun. My brother owns the first one on VHS, though. And I never watched that. The only one I'm familiar with is Army of Darkness, because my dad rented it. Matter of fact, no, this ain't, because it doesn't have the little stickers on. I was about to say this was the tape, we rented as a kid. It's not, because it's not from Skip. That's from the resale shop. Anyway, moving on. Okay, this is broken. I gotta fix it. The tape got ripped. I don't know if it's... No, it's not going to show. I'll have to take it apart. I fixed tapes before. You won't like my method, though. I just get some really high potent Scotch tape, splice them together, and smooth it out a little bit. I use like a rolly pin, like one of those little roll pins for like dough and shit, and that's worked for me. I know that's not the way to go about it, but when I preserve a VHS for whatever, hey, I already own the DVD version of this, so this really doesn't really matter, but whatever. It's the first TMNT movie on VHS. And yeah, I've already explained that spot. It's Ninja Turtles from the cartoon because it's a live action adaptation that does really well. It follows the comic book series more than the animated series. So that, some people look at that as a downfall or a down point, but I think that's fine because it's nice to have two versions running differently. Like, for instance, you still had the cartoon airing while the movie aired, and those who read the comics you know, they have some live adaptation of that. Now, what they should have done, though, is later on, maybe with Turtles 2, make a, you know, a live action of the cartoon that we know of. Now, we finally got that with the second Michael Bay Turtles film. What was it called? Out of Shadows or something? You had Bebop and Rocksteady for a little bit. But, you know, I'm at that point where I just don't give a shit about the Turtles. Especially when Nickelodeon got their version that looks like a really bad Nintendo 64 game. And everyone's like, oh, but it has such a good story. I didn't find it all that appealing, guys. Sorry. I'm allowed to have an opinion like the rest of it, like everybody else. So, hey, that's mine. It sucked. Moving on. Alright, I mentioned this earlier. Ernest Goes to Camp. Best camp movie with kids of all time. I love this part, especially in the very beginning when Ernest, you know, Jim Varney cleans a toilet. And he's like, hey. I can't do it that good. When I saw that as a kid, when I was a kid, I nearly blacked out from laughing my ass off because it was that funny to me. Because, you know, he looks at the toilet, he's like, looks at it again, and the camera's like close up to me, and he's like, hey. I can't do it as good as he could. He was an A man. Love Ernest. Goddamn Jim Varney, why'd you have to die? Oh yeah, because he smoked like the rest of us who have to cope, right? Fucking sinuses. I am sorry. Okay. Moving on. Okay, I had the first one as well. I'll dig it out. Johnny Five is alive! Yeah. I was a big fan of Short Circuit growing up. It's about Johnny Five. Johnny Five. Now, I'll have to talk about the first one before I can move on to the sequel. Now, this was bought at... I didn't buy this. I bought this... Well, I bought it, obviously. I didn't steal it. Someone bought this from Video Update. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. That was back... That was like, fuck me. Minnesota. Shit. So basically, Short Circuit is about a robot that gets struck by lightning. And, you know... He gets struck by lightning, and he gets a personality from it. It fucks with his AI, and it makes him actually into kind of like a living being. And he always quotes that he's alive. He wants input. Input is... And he can scan through books at like literally 5 seconds. Amazing. The first movie I really didn't care for. Because it was just... I don't know. It just did not hit me in the right spots. But the sequel did. The sequel, I really like the sequel, but there is one part in that movie that made me cry as a kid. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm not going to spoil it. But this is basically more of his shenanigans. It even has some racist things. Or racist... I don't know how you... Anyways, they had these Mexicans that steal car radios, and they had Johnny help them. He's like, what was it? How'd it go? What was it go? Los locos kick your ass. Los locos kick your face. Los locos kick your balls into outer space. Yeah. So, way for a way to play off the stereotype. I have another Good Times video. I never seen this one. So I'm going to have to do that when I get my VHS player set up. It's Mick Litlock. I have no idea what this is. It's Good Times, so it's probably going to be some cheese. Now, I still like... I mean, like I did in my Let's Play, I really like that movie. I watched it again because I gave you guys the link. If you don't know, there's a link in the description that you can watch that movie on YouTube for absolutely nothing. It's cheese, but it's good cheese. I like it. So I don't know what that movie's about. I am sorry. Okay. Now, thankfully, this doesn't have any kind of photos or anything. Oh, I forgot I even had this. So, okay. This is 4.5 hours hot chili pepper. You know what this is, right? It's porn. 4.5 hours of porn. Look, us men who can't smash, we have to relieve ourselves. I mean, thankfully the internet has helped us out a lot in that regard. Even though there's these fucking do-gooders that are trying to take it down. But I'm sorry, it makes too much money for everybody, so it's not going anywhere. And since we're on that topic, I'll show you another one. I was a big fan of Tracy Lords, and guess what? I have another one right here. Beverly Hills Copulator. I'm a guy, alright? I don't give a fuck. I'm a guy. I like my porn. Okay, fuck off. Now this tape is, of course, another recording. This one was really good. An old friend of mine who was a big Voltron and Transformers fan. So he gave me the movie of Transformers, it was Castle Lions. It's really good. And there's some Transformers episodes. Some really good ones, too. Yeah, he recorded this for me in EP format, so I had, it's an 8-hour tape. So we have 8 hours worth of Voltron and Transformers. So we have a nice jam there. I mean, come on, form blazing sword, and it's not his dick, it's his actual sword. Because it's kid shit. Voltron, if you don't know, is about, well, it's basically based off a Japanese anime called Beast King Go Lion, and I suggest not watching the Japanese original. It's terrible. That's the only series, because me and a family man were talking about this when we were moving shit. I told him, like, stay away from the Japanese original. He's like, oh, you mean Beast King Go Lion? I'm like, yeah, you know that? He's like, yeah, it's awful. I'm like, I know. I actually prefer the American dub over the Japanese sub and English subtitles. Yeah. Only anime I can tell you that definitely go with it. Our Voltron was better than their... matter of fact, I think it was even more popular here, wasn't it? Tell me in the comments. You guys probably know more than I do. Like I said, I don't know everything. I just know a few things. Okay, now this is one of those movies I bought at my work when they were selling VHS tapes. They got a whole bunch in some like newer movies before DVD took over at $2 a pop. And that's of course Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler and Winona Ryder. It's a nice little, romance story and whatnot, and it has some funny parts. It's not Adam Sandler's best. I mean, that still to me goes to like both Happy Gilmore and Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. After that, I mean, Wedding Singer was okay, but to me that was the beginning and the end. I know, cynical, but yeah. Like I remember watching Big Daddy, and the only part that made me laugh was, "Hi, what's your name? I'll write it on the wall. Mind your business." That's still funny. But that's the only part. That's the only part that made me laugh. Like I would normally laugh at anything, really. Okay, this next movie was a bomb in the box office, which still, to me, does not make sense. Because I see it in the theater, and I knew when it came out on VHS or DVD or whatnot, I had to own it. Titan AE. Okay, so basically, this movie's about the death of the Earth by aliens. They destroy the Earth by this alien race called the Dredge. Now, the Dredge are they basically run on pure energy. They are energy beings. I wonder if they are related to lightning beings from Blaster Master. Question of the day. So, but yeah, they destroy the Earth. But the main character, Kale, had a father who was a scientist, and he also built like a contraption known as the Titan that could create a new planet if the button was pushed. Now, and during the whole process, they fight with the Dredge. It has both hand-drawn animation and CG animation. Now, this was an actual flop of a movie in the box office, which I still, to this day, don't understand. This is one of my favorite Don Bluth original films. Now, I love Don Bluth. He made Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, Secret of Nim, Pete's Dragon. He's got a whole lot of listeners, though. I mean, unfortunately, he's up there in age, like Stan Lee was, and he's probably on death's door. But the man, regardless of his age, is still living to the fullest, and I can respect and commend that. But yeah, this is a really good film. I suggest those who haven't watched it, regardless of what you heard, watch it yourself and come up with your own opinion, because I love this movie. I've watched it more times than my age. In fact, when I get my VHS player set up, I'm probably going to watch it again. It's a good movie. It's awesome. Okay, time to embarrass myself to you guys, but there was a time I did like the Pokemon, not the games necessarily. I like the cartoon, though. And at my dollar theater that I had, the dollar where you only pay $1 to see a movie, this came out, and I watched it in the theater, and I actually liked it. So, yeah, I do have the first movie with Pokemon, with Mew vs. Mewtwo. As you can see, it's a big box VHS. If you haven't seen it, well, what can I say about it? About the kid, Brock and Ash and the bitch, I don't remember her name. Misty, I think? Misty? Whatever. They go to an island to, I guess, combat Pokemon, and the champions go to fight Mewtwo, and, that movie was so, like, fast that I don't even remember much of it. But I can tell you, near the end, it gets kind of depressing when Ash becomes stone. Now, everyone tells me in the Japanese version, Ash dies. Like, legit dies in that film. But the American version, they reversed it. Now, I have not seen the Japanese version yet. I still intend to do that. But please tell me in the comments if that's true or not. Because I'm not going to waste my time watching it again. Now, when I originally watched it, I did like it. I got bored of it after 2 times of watching it thereafter. Now, I was a fan of Pokemon for a little while, the animated series. But, like I said, this movie it went by so fast. Now, there is a little short of it, and there goes some of my VHS tapes. There was a short in the beginning where it was Pikachu's Adventure, so you get like an extra bit of content. I mean, I think that the DVD version might have that too, but I'm not sure because I don't own it. But, like I said, I was not interested in the rest of them. That one was fun for a little while. My friends were big Pokemon fans, so, when it comes to being with your friends, you want to be interested in what they are so you can, hang out with them still and talk to them about things. But as I grew older, I kind of backed away from that. Now it's like, okay, well, you like what you like and I like what I like. Some people may call that selfish. Some people may call that self-centered. I don't give a fuck. I'm old enough to where I don't give a shit. Anyway, okay, I bought this because I'm a big fan of the singer. It's Buster with Phil Collins. It's based off a true story about a heist of Buster, who went on a train in I believe the UK, and he stole like a shit ton of money, and got away with it for a long time. But then he eventually gives himself up, and the plan he had, he was going to plead guilty. And it didn't turn out right, so he had to serve more time and I guess pay more fines or whatever. Yeah, so I kind of wrecked it for you. It's not a very good movie though. The only reason why I bought it is because, well, Phil Collins. What can I say? I'm a big Phil Collins fan. He's not a bad actor, and Julie Walters, who's his wife in the movie, is not a bad actor either. It's just the script was just boring. The movie was boring. But, yeah, there's not much I can say. It's about, I think, what's his name? Buster Williams or Buster Walters? I don't remember his last name. That's going to drive me nuts. Buster Edwards. Yeah. So, yeah. He's a good family man, and he's a thief. And he stole for, to keep his family afloat. But eventually, things go sour. I suggest watching it if you're interested. But, honestly, as a movie, it's this. It's something to watch when you have nothing else. Let's just put it that way. Okay, now we're going to see my soft side of who I am inside. Okay, time to embarrass myself. Yes, Ghost. It's a love story where Patrick Swayze dies and becomes a ghost. And he's following his woman everywhere. And it pisses him off because there's this dude that's trying to, like, get with his woman and shit. And, well, there's another guy, I can't remember the actor's name. He meets another ghost that teaches him how he can actually physically manipulate objects as a ghost. Because unfortunately, when Patrick's character dies, he can't do shit. He's a ghost, I guess the movie implies. It's a really nice love story, though, and some cool things happened in between, that and the end. I don't want to spoil the end for you, but, it's pretty touching. It kind of brings a couple feels. Maybe shed a tear. If you have a soft heart, that is. But if you have a lump of coal in your chest, then it's not going to do shit for you. In fact, you're going to be like, oh, bullshit. That's what my dad did. Because he watched it with my mom. Because my mom's a helpless romantic, too. And when my dad saw the ending, he was like, "Oh, bullshit! This is stupid. This is feeding false hope into people. What the fuck's this?" I miss my dad. He was funny. He's still alive. We just don't talk. Anyway, so that's that. It's a nice little love story. It's got Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg, and they all play nice roles. It has a nice story to it, and there's some shenanigans and things. Like Whoopi Goldberg can actually communicate with ghosts. So Patrick Swayze's character, I can't think of his name. Forgive me. And he talks to Whoopi Goldberg, and she helps him out, like in certain aspects that he can't do because he's a ghost. And a lot of cool things happen. I like the premise, and it's actually executed really well. So I do like Ghost, and I would recommend it, unless you don't like love stories. Then stray away. Just stay away. Poof, pop, gone. Find something else. I know. Flabby fat arm. Look at that. Whee. Anyways. Classic. This has three legends in the film industry at the time. You had Billy Crystal, Daniel Stern, and Bruno Kirby. And the well-renowned classic, in my opinion, and a very faded box art, because this has spent a lot of time in the sun, obviously. City Slickers. It's about, there are three basically guys that are looking for treasure, and they get into all sorts of funny shenanigans throughout the movie and with each other, and they get in arguments. And Daniel Stern is married to a woman that he hates, that he purposely goes to sleep so he doesn't have to deal with it. I knew a few fathers of some of my friends who were just like that. Now, this was one I bought for my... It wasn't so fucking shiny. Trying to find the right angle. Let me see if I can... There we go. Oh, God damn it. It's hard to see. Yeah, there we go. Well, somewhat. God damn it. Can I find an angle that... well, you can see it skips video. Yeah. So I got this from... I was when they were closing down and selling their tapes for dirt cheap. And, well, they also made a sequel to Slickers 2, which is also equally as good. They're searching for Curly's gold, and then they find out, I think it's part of a contest, and the gold wasn't real. Something like that. It's like this. If you like the first one, you're definitely going to like the second one. They're both classics. And I don't want to ruin anything for you, because you could be like, oh, you just don't know what you're talking about. No, it's about three guys that basically are in the West, and they go on adventures, and they're looking for treasure. I mean, come on. It's kind of like a more family-friendly version of the video game Takeshi's Challenge, who divorces his wife, beats his children, to go treasure hunting, and quits his job to go treasure hunting. I mean, okay. Okay, I didn't buy this, but a friend gave it to me because, well... This was before the turnover of the Federation. But it's the Best of Raw, Volume 1, WWF. Yes. Because WWE, anything WWE related from 2000 or 2001 when it was changed to WWE, I stopped completely. This is probably at the tail end. Anyways, he gave it to me because he's like, you'll find some interest in it since you like some forms of wrestling. And it was... It's pretty good. It's got some highlights of some of the matches, and you have classics in here. I mean, classic wrestlers you have Mankind and The Rock. Of course, I don't like The Rock now. He's a Biden fan. He can fuck off. I think Luna Vachon's in this too. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it's wrestling. I mean, if you like wrestling, you'll like it. I still want that one of they made of the Ultimate Warrior. He was my favorite wrestler back in the day when he was introduced. I mean, I was a Hogan fan growing up, and I also liked, even though he was whatchamacallit, I can't think of the phrase, but you have Ravishing Rick Rude, Ricky Steamboat, Tugboat, Earthquake, the natural disasters, when Tugboat became Typhoon. You have the Legion of Doom, Rest in Peace, Hawk and Animal, Macho Man Randy Savage, rest in peace. Can't believe Hogan's still alive though. That still baffles me. So, yeah. I mean, if you like wrestling, that's fine. Okay. Let me there's not much you can talk about with wrestling. It just has some highlights of some of the best matches and shows the highlights of those and some commentary. So that's all it is. There's a proper description for you. Okay. Here's the first one, Wizards of the Lost Kingdom. This is a little better than the second one, though. I mean, this takes place after events of Sorceress that I mentioned. Now, Sorceress was nice because it had this chick in it, and she was naked a lot in the movie. I mean, I always rewind, pause, do a 5-minute break. Come on, man. I'm a guy. What can I say? And I'm a booty guy, so there. But yeah, you got some. You got Bose Svensson from the of the Delta Force in this movie. Delta Force was a good movie. I think I had Chuck Norris and someone else. I can't remember. That was really good. There's some special effects here that are actually done really well. I think a lot of love went into this compared to the second one. So you can just forget the second one exists, even though that should be called the third movie, because this is the sequel to Sorceress. A whole confusing... Well, as we all know, like, a lot of movies get, like, just confused. Like, the whole thing is confusing. They rename movies when one is meant to be the other, and just like NES games. And 80s was a weird time, but it was also a great time. But Wizards of Lost Kingdom is pretty good. This one's pretty good. It's got really awesome fantasy elements, and it has a lot better acting. The choreography is so much more clean than this one. I don't know why they bothered with the sequel, but this was also made by Media. They were known as Meta before they became Media. And you also have, forgive my ignorance, but yeah, this has Vidal Peterson. Don't know who that is. And it's funny. They want you to make sure that it's made for family. That it's made for family. And yeah, I don't remember them being no tits or ass in this one, and that's fine. Well, maybe that's why they changed hands, but Media was one to show tits and ass in their movies, so I don't get it. A lot of unanswered questions in this world we live in. Okay. Beauty and the Beast. I know I don't own the box, because this was one of those movies I got from one of those abandoned trailers. Beauty and the Beast was pretty cool. You got Belle and the Beast, and, it's a love story about a woman fall in love with a beast, and there's a TV show called Beauty and the Beast. Now, I didn't watch too much of that, but I was told by a lot of the female friends I had as a kid, yes, because when I was a kid, believe it or not, as ugly and incel the incel that I tend to be, I did have female friends. Not very many, but I had few. I had like maybe 7 or 8 in my life. So yeah, it's about royalty. She's a princess. I believe she's a princess. She's one of the Disney princesses. You have Belle, Ariel. Ariel's one I would smash definitely. Then you have Jasmine, and then Snow White, and Cinderella, known as the Disney princesses. If you look really hard, and if that's your thing, there's porn out there of each of them. I even think there's even a porn where all of them are participating in a whole lickety-split, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, has Belle. It's a story about Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, she's a beauty, he's a beast. She falls in love with him. You have cringy Disney songs. Now, I'm sorry, I don't like family songs and family movies like them, like the cartoons. I cringe at them. Every time they pop on and I'm watching a movie with I will literally put a pillow over my head and just quietly scream. It was that bad for me. Because it's just so cheesy and so stupid. But that's how it was for me back then. Nowadays, if I watch something with my wife and they're singing in it, I just turn my mind off. I'm just like, I can do that. I have that ability. Or I'll take like a Flexeril or something so my mind can be like, woo, while I'm watching something completely fucking retarded. Okay, now, this movie sucks. Now, there was a time where I liked Christian-based doomsday movies. But this one was absolutely terrible. The sequel was better. I have that on DVD, the Omega Code 2, but here's the original. This is really bad. Avoid it at all costs. Why did I buy it? Because, well, at the time I liked it. I thought it was okay. I thought the story was kind of cool, because it's about end-time Bible prophecies and whatnot. You have Michael York in it, too, and I'm also a Michael York fan. but he was better in the next movie I will show you. But yeah, you have Michael York in here, and it's basically about the mark. It's about the I'm gonna try to make this as least religious as possible, but it's basically about Michael York's character. He's the Beast, okay, and what he's doing is he's taking scriptures from the Bible that it pertains to what the Beast is supposed to do during the end time days, and he's following it like a script so he can fulfill the prophecy. Because according to theologians and Christians, when doomsday happens and we all get fucking sent to judgment, that's known as the true new millennia. So, that's that. And this was also made pre-2000. They were trying to feed onto the hype, the fear and the hype about the year 2K. And as we know, 21 years later, we're still here. So, that was a bunch of bullshit. So, this movie was not very good. You had Casper Van Dien, don't know who the fuck that is. He's the main character. He's a protagonist. He's the one that's trying to understand why the Beast is doing this. And the Christians trust him. And, he gets himself in a lot of fucking trouble. You have Michael York. Love him. He's awesome. Catherine Oxenberg. And, of course, the bad guy, one of the big bad guys that also played bad guys in other movies, Michael Ironside. So you do have some Hollywood talent here, what's considered talent. And Michael York and Michael Ironside are both great actors. So, I liked Michael Ironside when he was in that movie, the Major Payne, and he's that drunken fuck who gets his fucking ass handed to him by Marlon Wayans, or Damon Wayans, I don't know. They all look the same to me. So avoid that movie unless you really want to see biblical doomsday movies that are not all that good. Most of them aren't. Some of them are actually done really well, because I like to see people die. Classic Jim Belushi film. I love this movie. It's taking care of business. Yes, so basically, there you go. I've seen this, I think the last time I seen this was like 2001. But yeah, he plays this canine. He's a cop and basically gets in a whole bunch of shenanigans. I don't really want to ruin it for you, but I had a lot of fun with this one. And, yeah, so I'm not going to ruin it for you. You got to watch this. I don't want to give anything away. But it's a lot of fun. It also has a song, Taking Care of Business and Working Overtime. Good times. Okay, what's next on the list? So now we tap into one of my animes I own. Fatal Fury, the motion picture. Now, this is the third movie. There's two OVAs, and then there's this one. This one actually was in the theater in Japan in the tender year of 1993. I believe this was released in 94. Let me see if there's any kind of date on it so I can give you guys... Oh, I take that back. 95. But it was released... Okay, so I remember the theater version then, because I've seen it. There's a TV spot, and I think the TV spot is still on YouTube, where it basically states that it came out in 1994. This movie is about Terry Bogard, Andy Bogard, and Mai Shiranui. They meet this girl named Sulia, and basically she is a descendant of the God of War. I can't remember his name. With the God of War, and basically, since the girl is not evil intended and not, hell-bent on destroying humanity and people and whatever, the God of War manipulates her brother and to get his pieces of his armor, and that's pretty much the premises of it. Now, a lot of people love this movie. I do not, and I'll tell you why. It's a big history lesson. That's all they talk about is history of the God of War and all these other civilizations. It's kind of like AVP, the first one, Aliens vs. Predator. It's a big history lesson. That's what this is. Some of the combat scenes are pretty impressive and they're fun to watch. And it has I think his name is oh shit. No, his name's not all shit. I think his name is Brian. Oh, shit. Can't remember I apologize. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah. He's played in all three English dub. Now the English dub is not too bad. Also, some of you may like the shower scene. Unfortunately, it only lasts nothing more than about 3 or 4 seconds. I'm sorry, those tits are too big, though. See, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like like sizable tits, but not that size. That's too big. But anyways, if you're a fan of the games and you're a fan of Fatal Fury or the series, or you're a fan of SNK, this is good. This is probably one of their better offerings. Ones I say stay away from, or the one I would say is Art of Fighting. That was bad. Rio does not have black hair. I don't know what the fuck the animators were thinking. I don't even know if SNK had any involvement in it. But Rio had black hair, and the story was very dull. That was probably the worst one. Samurai Showdown was pretty good, though. Because Nakaruru, waifu. Anyways, you should cut me in half. Anyways, speaking of what I was saying with Michael York, this is my favorite of the trilogy. The Spy Who Shagged Me. Now, a lot of people like the first Austin Powers movie. I prefer this one. This one was funnier. First of all, Heather Graham back then was a fox, alright? I would sniff her butthole. I'd probably eat it, too. But yeah, Heather Graham was fucking smashingly, deliciously hot in this movie, and there's a lot of funny parts in this, especially the part where they show a bunch of penis innuendos near the end of the movie. That was really funny. But there's a lot of things that happen that's really fun. But basically, it's a sequel to the movie that came before it. And the first one was okay. I didn't like it as much as everyone else does. And basically, this is Dr. Evil trying to get his revenge on Austin Powers for basically being cryogenically frozen at the end of the first movie. And then he came back. It's never explained how he returns, but he does. And he, of course, he gets number 2, and of course, Fat Bastard. Who can forget Fat Bastard? Where's your sitter? I got the turtle head poking out. Yeah, but it's fun time, great movie, love it to death. I actually have digital copies of that thanks to a friend of mine. So there's that. Alright, this is a personal VHS tape. Now, it's nothing exciting, but basically, they videotaped me working at Selfridge Air Force Base. And it even says my name there. And it says Selfridge Air National Guard Base. This was me when I was working there. I was, like I said, I did maintenance orders. I would be sitting at the computer, filling in the orders, and basically explaining my job to the camera. And asking, like, could you see yourself working at a place like this? And I said, absolutely. It's something I know of. I'm very, I want to get that on digital, though, because I want to have it backed up somewhere. Because the last time I played that tape, it was looking pretty rough. So I do want to think, but it was me working at Selfridge Air Force Base. I mean, it wasn't a job necessarily. It was more like, job training. Because I earned enough credits. What I was doing is I already earned enough credits to graduate. They wanted me to earn credits for college. Because I was going to go to college. But see, I'm a dumbass. I didn't know how to fill out the student loans or the grants that you could get to go to college. I didn't know how to do any of that. My parents were fucking retarded. I didn't have any help. So I was pretty much, as soon as I graduated high school, I was thrown to the dogs to figure it out for myself. And, yeah. So that's why I'm in such a shit spot these days. Anyways, enough with personal matters. But that was that. I need to get that put on digital though. And now I'm not going to share it with you guys either. And the reason why I won't, because some personal things need to stay behind closed doors. I'll show it to my wife though. She might be interested in it. This is a classic. This is Robert De Niro and Robin Williams in Awakenings. It's based on a true story, and rightfully so. This was about where people were either retarded or mentally incompetent to where they have a disease. I don't remember the disease. Let's see if the box tells us of what disease that was. Okay, I don't see any. Awaken the catatonic victims of a rare disease. Okay, it doesn't tell you the name of the disease, so I don't know it. But if you know it, please let me know in the comments. But Robin Williams, great actor. Rest in peace. I wish he didn't off himself, but I get it at the same time because I also have tendencies myself. I think we all do. Anyways, right. I don't have any tendencies right now. Just saying, sometimes. Right, so he plays a doctor, and he's trying to find a cure for this disease, and Robert De Niro is the character that he works with. That's Robert De Niro's doctor. What happens in the movie, though, I will spoil this. this is one of those movies I don't want to give too much away, but I think I am just so you can get just a better understanding of what this movie's about. These people are they're in a mental home where they're too incompetent to basically function in society, and they give the patients medication, and it makes them more aware, more complacent, and what's that word I'm looking for? Basically more conscious. They can talk now. Feel things, explain things. They put them on this it's a medication that was made for another disease, but they give them one, and everyone was awakening, and that's why it's called Awakenings. They awaken, but unfortunately, this medication caused something else to go awry, so they had no choice but to take them off. And basically, you see alive Robert De Niro become more retarded again and mentally incompetent. It's real heartbreaking. This made me shed a couple tears, but it's such a damn good movie that I had to own it, and I am definitely very happy to have it in my collection. So there you go. Awesome movie. You should see it if you haven't already. But I will tell you, it is a little rough, especially if you or someone in your family has mental problems, like severe mental problems, not the ones that like to preach it online like it's the second coming of Christ. No, I'm talking like people that have problems to where they cannot talk or function at any level. So if you have people like that, I wouldn't watch that because it may make you more upset than. I mean, depending. I mean, everyone's a snowflake these days, it seems. So I'm just saying that, but I mean that respectfully when it comes to that movie, because that movie is rough to watch. It's very touching, but it's also very good to watch because it's a good movie. So, take it as you will. Now, I wanted to own the first one, but they didn't have it, so I had to settle for this. Robocop 2. Yeah, we all know what Robocop's about. The first movie, Alex Murphy gets shot to death in one of the most brutal fucking scenes in film history, in photography. That they did that really well. So, yeah, Alex Murphy gets blown away. He becomes basically a candidate for a prototype of a half man, half machine, who basically a cyborg because he has human parts, but he's run off circuitry. Unfortunately, this one was not as good as the first one. I think everyone can agree on that. There's some funny parts, though. That's probably the reason why I decided to lay the lovely $3 on it. And, in fact, hey, it's the one I rented as a kid. And here's Skip's videos, Little Shiny. If the fucking sun wasn't such a... Fuck you, son. Anyways, I hope you can see that. Anyways, yeah, so that's not important. There's a second. They're wanting to make a second RoboCop, but because they're like, oh, it's the first one's obsolete. We need to make a new one. They try to make a new one out of a fucking drug addict, and the drug in there is called Nuke. It's basically this red capsule or this red thing with a needle on it, and they stick it in their neck or probably in their jugular vein, and you hear this little sound, which I kind of liked. I like the sound that. Anyways. Yeah, so they're trying to make RoboCop basically a snowflake too. They're trying to reprogram his wording and his mannerisms and such. They try to make him basically into a snowflake. And RoboCop hates it. He actually electrocutes himself because he hates it so much. And of course, then you have RoboCop. Then you have the actual RoboCop 2. Then the villain is Kane, and he has a group of people who are a bunch of just like Broderick was in the first movie, where they would just shoot shit, steal money. There's actually a really tough scene in there, too, that some people may find kind of disturbing, because you don't see it much in film. You know how kids don't die in films? Well, one dies in this one. Yeah. But that kid kind of deserved it, though. And if you watch the movie, you'll see why. Now, I gave a lot away. That's because not many people are going to go out to watch RoboCop 2. It's not very good. But I'll give it some credit. It's better than RoboCop 3, which I would suggest, if you haven't watched it yet, don't bother. It is garbage throughout. First of all, you don't have What's-His-Nuts playing the actor. Like I said, I don't know my actors, so forgive me for that. But you don't have him as Robocop anymore. You have somebody else. He does an alright job. And I want to spoil it for you. Lewis dies. Yeah, she gets killed. Not only did you have that, you also had a shitty game made into it. I believe the game came out long before the movie did. I guess there was some kind of some development hell of sorts where they released the game first and then the movie came out later. It doesn't matter. The only version of RoboCop 3 that was actually amusing, some of you may have seen it, and if you haven't, you should. It's for the Amiga. It was actually one of the first 3D open world games out there, and it's done pretty well. Of course, they had a really shitty fucking anti-pirating system for it. It was a dongle, and it was like killed the next day. Just stupid. People are gonna pirate. You might as well just get over it. You can try, but it always fucks over the people who actually want to support your ass. I don't understand these goddamn developers these days. This is a classic. I loved this movie as a kid. Now, this was considered a flop, and I believe it was. But thankfully, they released it on DVD and I think Blu-ray too, because it's a classic. Disney needs to not bury stuff that... I mean, they did it with Black Cauldron. I'm going to go on a little rant here. Black Cauldron was fucking great. I seen it in the theater when I was... I think it came out in 84. I was 2 years old. And I remember sitting next to my brother. That was a damn dark and awesome fucking movie for Disney. I mean, fuck, the main guy looks like the main, even though Satan was in Fantasia, but this guy looked like another version of Satan. He looked awesome and he sounded cool as fuck. I don't remember the name because it's been, I mean, I seen it, I think when it first came out in VHS in 1999. Yeah, a movie that came out in 84, finally, they got it released in 99, because I think the reason why they didn't is because it did so poorly in the theater. I can understand that, but at the same time, don't bury shit. I mean, it may have not met sales expectations, sure, but you got your fans out there, and I'm pretty sure people, collectors especially, who like all your work, will collect it even if they didn't like it anyway. It's gonna sell regardless. So, that movie was dope too. I don't have it. I need to get it. Anyways, this is Flight of the Navigator. It's about a boy who has, like, this... His brain is very advanced, but he doesn't understand it. And he goes to the hospital and, like... I'm trying to remember how it goes, but he basically... He runs into a spaceship that can take him anywhere. And there's a little, like, it's like an orb. Anyways. The thing you see on the cover. That thing. That's voiced by, what was his name? David Freeman, I think? No. That's the name of the character. Like I said, I am so sorry. I can't remember his fucking name. He's the one that does the voice of, the Pee Wee Herman. I can't remember his name. Shit. Anyways. He's the one that does the voice in there. He does a ha-ha like a couple times in the movie. It's a kid that can basically communicate with the spaceship, and the spaceship is drawn to him, and they basically go through time, and he's a boy, but then he becomes an adult. Or I'm sorry, he falls down the cliff. Yeah, now I remember. He falls down the cliff. I don't know how this makes sense, but then he wakes up. Everything's changed. He's in the future now. And then the doctors get a hold, like, he goes to this house that, it says it's, like, but it's, like, different people. And he's, like, confused. He's, like, and he starts crying. He's like, I want to go home, and they didn't know what to do with him, so they send him to the cops, and they basically find where his home is. And he finds out his brother, his parents are older. They're all older. All right, and his brother's actually nice to him, because in the beginning of the movie, he's a dick to him. And, yeah, so and then basically... they take him to the doctor to make sure he's okay, but then they found out that he has some weird brain things, and then brain like transmissions and such. And then what happens is the government wants to get a hold of him, and they eventually do, and he gets on this UFO, and then a lot of shit happens, and it's really fun to watch. I really like this movie. It's fantastic. and he like learns to fly the plane because he gets in the fight with the guy who the robot that helps him out. Now this spaceship is actually pretty cool. I like that. Really awesome movie though. It from what I understand it flopped, but Disney released it on VHS anyway, which is cool. And then some people hate it, some people love it. I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun because it had a lot of comedy in it, and it just had like a sense of wonder. Because the 80s was a time where it was just that, a sense of wonder, especially when you're a kid. Because when you're a kid, you don't understand how everything in the world is until you reach a certain age and gone through some experiences. Then you understand that, you know, you get a sense of wonder. You know, it's hard to explain. It's like, I guess that's imagination or a form of imagination. When you're a kid and you watch movies and stuff, it's like your imagination just goes crazy. And then you get to my age where you're a cynical prick, and then all that imagination goes goes in the shitter, and that's that. Anyways, great movie. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. One of my favorite books as a kid. The Little Engine That Could. Yeah, it's about a little, basically this little train that was too small and everyone thought he couldn't do shit, but then he proves them wrong because he had enough willpower. And there's kind of a little moral story there that if you have the willpower to do it, regardless of your shortcomings, and you know what to expect and what to do, then chances are you will be able to accomplish it. That's all that basically it is. It's about a little... Think Thomas the Tank Engine, but get rid of the creepy factors of it and make the train smaller. I mean, the train was not built to do a lot of things, but he could. And yes, it's a cartoon character. It talks and this and that. It's a really nice book. I read the book as a kid. I saw the cartoon back... I think this came out in 93, was it? Or was it earlier? Let me see if it gives me a date. I do apologize for my ignorance, like I said. Okay, there's no date, but I know it was released, I believe, early 90s. I saw it at Skips once, and I rented it, and I loved it, because, of course, my brother called me a fag for liking it, but he called me a fag for a lot of things, so hey. But maybe he's projecting, because that guy still is with my mother, and he has not been with a woman ever. So, yeah. Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. This was also from Skip's Video. I know I keep doing this. Alright, this is the last time I do this, I promise, because I know it's probably getting irritating now. Yeah, Temple of Doom. So basically, this is a sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. You have Indiana Jones, who's played by Harrison Ford. And he gets himself into some shit. Like, everyone knows the whole boulder chasing him when he tries to switch out a valuable statue for something that's of equal size and weight. But the motherfuckers in those Aztec temples have some technology that makes ours look like fucking jokes. But it's really good. It's got action. It's got, you know, your famous and, you know, he fights a lot of people, and it's an Indiana Jones title. I mean, if you haven't seen them, I mean, come on. You should know what it is. He's an adventurer, and he checks out temples and places of interest, and he gets valuables out of them, and of course fights the natives that are trying to protect those things. That's pretty much all the movies. And they're good though. They're good. Don't make that mean to sound like it's just okay. It's the same thing over and over again. No, they do it differently in each movie, and it's very interesting. Okay, I mentioned the first one earlier. I'll mention it now. I already explained it, but yeah, here's the first short circuit. This is the one where he gets electrocuted. I mean, even the cover art, you see the lightning strike him. Yeah, you have this one has Steve Guttenberg. Now, if you don't know who he is, he played as Mahoney in Police Academy. Funny ass character. I don't know what he's doing these days. I haven't really looked him up in a while. I mean, I'm guessing he's old as dirt, but yeah, this was made in 1986. I seen this when I was 4. Fuck me. Yeah, that was it's a really good movie. They the beginning of it is really boring, but then it like around a little past it gets good. It's like the army's trying to recollect him because he got away. He doesn't want to be. You know, he's like the rest of us. We don't want to be caged up. You know, we don't want to be caged up animals. So And so he gets away, and they're trying to find him. And he goes to this girl's house. I think it's played by Molly Ringwood or something like that. I can't remember her name. It's like I said, I'm bad with names. Yeah, Ellie Sheedy, who plays this. I forgot her name. Anyways, yeah. So there's kind of a little romance between them. Now, some people may find that creepy. I thought it was sweet because I was 4 years old and stupid. Alright, the next on the endless barrel of VHS tapes, because we're about halfway. Yeah, I told you I had a lot. And I told you this was going to be long, so. Anyways, Starship Troopers. This is kind of like, in my opinion, a parody of certain, like, not like Spaceballs. Spaceballs was, of course, a parody of Star Wars, which was also an excellent movie. All Mel Brooks movies are fucking glorious. Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. Anyways, I don't own any of them. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find them. Yeah, so this funny thing is this is the only one that actually had the price tag on it. See, $1. I can't beat that for Starship Troopers. It's awesome. This game, yeah, because this is mostly a gaming channel. This movie has like really dope special effects, and one of my favorite parts is there was they got the main alien and they took like this probe and then they shoved it in him in the alien and it said sensor. I don't know, that made me laugh my ass off. But this also has Micro Ironside on it, and also has that Casper Van Dien guy. So it's basically these are the same guys that were in Omega Code. But this is a really cool action-packed. Well, it's not too much action. There's a couple action scenes. It's about a bunch of space marines looking for some shit. I don't remember entirely the story of it, but yeah, it's basically aliens versus humans scenario. You know, your standard sci-fi shit. It's pretty good. It's a lot of fun. It's got some gore in it, and it's an enjoyable watch. They also had a animated series, a CG one that was really good that came out. I don't remember the name of that. It was called Starship Troopers. I think something Chronicles or something. Let me know in the comments. But that one was really good because sorry, my nose is just allergies. It basically continued the story of Starship Troopers, and it had like a really good plot and story and everything. And honestly, even if Starship Troopers the movie didn't exist, that would have been fine on its own. But that's just, you know, I'm glad they were able to continue it a little bit because the Starship Troopers idea was really good. I liked it. I haven't even opened this yet. I haven't even, because I didn't watch it. I still need to, though, because like I said, I have so much, and sometimes I just forget. But this is with Jet Li. It's Kiss of the Dragon. It's supposed to be a really kick-ass martial arts film with the, of course, one of the Kung Fu masters out there, Jet Li, who was a badass in his prime. I can't tell you what it's about. I can't tell you what it is because I didn't watch it. I just know it's a martial arts film and it stars Jet Li. And I heard it's really good. So, I mean, obviously, it has the premiere series. So, and usually those, it's kind of like Fox's Greatest Hits or some shit. No, my brother liked it and he says I'll like it too. So, I mean, even though him and I have separate tastes of what we like. But, you know, some movies out there, very little, we do have common interest. Okay, now this is basically a bunch of MTV programming on it. Now, the reason why this one's a mess, and the reason why I have this was the last thing I received from my friend Steve Shrinzak before he passed. That's why I know it's markered up to hell. It just says MTV on it. But it has a lot of music videos and like some liquid television and stuff that he recorded when he was younger. Yeah, he was cleaning up his house and he gave this to me. He's like, you like MTV? I'm like, I did, not anymore. He's like, yeah. He's like, I got some clips of during their glory days, and he's like, I want you to have this. And it also has a couple episodes of Beavis and Butthead too, you know, because they were part of Liquid Television for a little bit. Yeah, after Beavis and Butthead aired and Daria aired, after that, MTV was just garbage. I will not watch MTV these days. They might as well just switch the name from M to R, because now it's all it is reality shows, and it's been like that since the late 90s. Terrible, terrible network. Sorry, blank, can't tell you. I really wish I had the labels on some of these. I do apologize. Now, you can't see the label for this one, Probably not. Oh, actually, you can a little bit on this camera. Yes, a third Thundercats cassette of recorded Thundercats. Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible, terrible, terrible guy. Now, what the fuck? Hold on. I can barely read that. Oh, shit. I see Z, I see H. I can't read this to you guys. There is something on here. Hopefully I can put this on a tape and give it a proper label. But yeah, I mean, there is writing. You can see some writing on it. I can't read that, though. That is way too faded. Like I said, this isn't perfect. If you're still with me, say, this is dope. Or not. No one ever comments. Anyway. This was part of the X-Men VHS releases of the cartoon Enter Magneto and Deadly Reunions. Yeah, it has 2 episodes on here, and it's the one where... Well, the first episode on there is the one where I believe... Yeah, it's the one where Sabretooth pretends that he's being fixed by Professor X, but then turns his back on him once he's inside the base and everything, and Wolverine gets severely hurt at the end of that episode. And then there's the one where Beast is being arrested for something. I know, I'm like the worst person to describe shit. Okay, this next one was not my... This is not mine. This is hers. Because she wanted it out of one of the abandoned trailers. It's, sometimes I have to question her likes. This is literally Bear in the Blue House. Potty Time with Bear. I am not kidding. That is the name of this. I have not seen this. I have no idea what the hell it is. All I do know is I don't understand why she got that. I think she was going to give this to one of her nieces or nephews, but they're too old for that shit. They're like well over the age of 10. They're like, oh, okay, one of them's like 8, but still, way beyond that age. I don't get it. So I can't tell you about it, but if you have any memories with it, you know, hats off. Ah, yes. We're all the fatties, except myself, because I know I am. Got triggered by it. It's Eddie Murphy's The Nutty Professor. Great fucking movie. It's a lot of fun. Basically, this is a remake, sort of, loosely, off the... what's his nuts? Not Dick Clark, the other guy. Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis did a movie back, I believe, in the 50s or 60s called The Nutty Professor. But this is done differently. This was done because he... You know, he plays as Professor Clump, and he's fat, and a lot of things happen to him to the point where he's like, I want to do something about it. So he chooses a short way using his scientific ability. Now, he had a formula that took a CGI hamster by the name of Shelly, gave it some food or some medication that actually redid her DNA work to where, since she was predisposed to gaining weight regardless of whatever. And basically he uses that a lot on himself, and he becomes the thin Eddie Murphy, which is fully high in testosterone and becomes more confident. But as you'll tell in the movie, a lot of the time he loses... he basically starts losing people that he cares about, and he loses the gentleman side and is the whole misogynist, piggish, you know, the pigmen stereotype that are out there, the chauvinist, there we go, side, and he noticed that it's affecting him, and he gets in a lot of shit, but there's some funny aspects in the movie. I think one that everyone remembers the most is when the family's sitting around the table, even though they're all played by Eddie Murphy, thanks to, you know, camera magic and filmography and whatever the fuck, and they rip ass, or the dad rips ass, because they're talking about colon cleansing. He's like, I'm going to clean mine. And, yeah. It's funny. And there's also, I like the part, one of my favorite parts is where he's on the trampoline where he's off, and he's like, no titties, no titties, no titties, no titties. Oh, I'm not talking about your titties, I'm talking about mine. Mine are gone. Yours are nice, though. What's your name? Good times, good times. Alright, here's another personal tape that I own. My friend Dan, one of my friend Dan's, he had a moniker named Masked Ninja, because he would do the thing where you would take a t-shirt and make it into a ninja mask. If you guys want me to show you how you do that, I'll do it for you. Anyways, it's this is when we were having a party filled with alcohol, gaming, and fun. It's Masked Ninja presents Fun Time at Dan's Meet the Masked Ninja. Yeah, that's another one I have to put on digital for my personal thing. Yeah, he made that. He gutted the original recording of that. He had to gut a porn to record it, so he lost the porn out of it, but I think it's worth it because, you know, a porn only gives you like 20 minutes of good. Okay, that's a porn DVD that needs to go over there. But this one's a little bit more safe. But yeah, that was one of my, you know, times. Actually, that was the time when I was living with him because I was kicked out of my house because I couldn't find work, and my mom booted me for a little while. I think I told you guys that story. I told you this was a long one. Okay, now this is, well, it's clean enough to show, but I bought this from Skips. Playboy Cheerleaders. I can't show you the back, though, because the back has plenty of, actually it doesn't. It's clean enough, but I'm still not going to do it because, yeah, snowflakes and SJWs, those kind of people that make life harder to live. But, yeah, this is what you think it is. It's a bunch of girls with cheerleader outfits, and they lickety-split, and they take showers and rub each other off. It's good stuff. It does the job. Right. Okay, because since I'm a fan of this character when I was growing up, and I never seen this one particularly, but I know what to expect because every episode is pretty much the same. It's Winnie the Pooh in Tigger 2. I don't know if this is a movie or a straight to video movie, or if it's like a collection of it. It's only 25. Okay, so it's probably just an episode. It's 25 minutes. I have not watched that one, but I am a fan of Winnie the Pooh. Or was when I was a kid, and it's okay. It's kind of, it's one of those Disney franchises that seems to have fizzled out, which is a shame because, you know, he was a big part of my childhood. Okay, this is a reprint of this, but it's the original Friday the 13th. Now, if you know, Friday the 13th did not have Jason. It had his mother. And his mother apparently is either just psycho or possessed by Jason's soul. Because there's a lot of parts where she's like, kill her, mommy, kill her! And she kills a bunch of camp counselors. You don't know any of this until the end of the movie. Yeah, I spoil it for you. Don't waste your time, though. To me, some people love Friday the 13th, the first one. I hate it. I think it's stupid. It was probably one of my least favorites of the series. It didn't get good until part 3, in my opinion. Some people love 2, and 2 was a step in the right direction because you actually see Jason. But 3 is where I started getting really interested in it. Because, like I said, my parents let me watch those movies when I was a kid. She's like, as long as you know the difference between reality and fantasy, you can watch them. But if you start portraying what you see in these movies, we're done. So, hats off to my parents for that, I suppose. Never saw this either. This is another one of those I got from one of the abandoned trailers. North to Alaska. Now, given the tape length, this is long as shit. Does it say the runtime on this motherfucker? 120 minutes, so it's a 2-hour film. Let me know in the comments if it's any good, because, you know, Alaska's pretty. You can get some salmon there, too. Some good salmon. I knew some people who did live in Alaska, though. Matter of fact, dyslexia sucks. Matter of fact, one of my wife's friends that she went to high school with lived in Alaska for about 15 years. And she says it's beautiful out there. They got mountains and fish and all sorts of beautiful things. And it's a nice way to get away from, you know, like urban areas, like heavy urban areas. Okay, this next film I bought in '98 when I worked at the Fraser School District as a janitor for the summer through their Michigan Works program. I really like this movie because it's a lot of fun to watch. And it's even free on YouTube. At least I found it on YouTube recently. I don't know if it's still there. If it is, I'll link it. If it's not, then you'll have to go about looking at elsewhere. It's In the Army Now with Pauly Shore. Now, as you know, Pauly Shore made a few movies, and now he directs, from what I understand. And he has not aged well. But anyways, In the Army Now is about basically two guys who work at a retail store, and they want to open their own store to sell radios and tapes, decks, and whatnot. You know, things that were, you know, around during that time frame. The movie was made in 94. And it's funny, in the intro, Pauly Shore is playing the 3DO. So, well, and it's funny. You know, it was made in 94, or it could have been made in 93, and then put in the theaters in 94. Let me see if they have any kind of date on here. No, they don't. So, look that up if you're interested. Anyways, that's not important. And basically, they decided to join the Army because there hasn't been a conflict in a while. So they decided to go through training so they can get the money to make their, you know, their dream, which is a house of stereos. A stereo shop that sells radios and tape decks and whatnot. Just whatever the fuck. You know, that wouldn't fly today because, you know, nowadays we sell MP3 players and some people don't even use those. They just use their phones and MP3 player. I'm one of those guys. I mean, I still own a radio. Actually, I got two. I own an MP3 player, but I use my phone as my MP3 player if I go for a walk or whatever, if I can walk, given my, you know, health problems. So, they join the Army, and, well, it turns out there is a conflict, and they get called to duty, and a lot of funny shit happens. A lot of one-liners and a few other things. It's really funny. You have Andy Dix in it, too, so if you're a fan of him and his comedy sticks or whatever, you may find some enjoyment in it. It's a really funny movie. It's got a lot of fun parts that are funny, that are humorous, at least to my opinion. One of my favorite parts I still remember is when they find the Special Forces team when they run up with him after he's been captured, and unfortunately he got shot in the leg from the enemy. They escape, and then he's like high on morphine. He's all like, "Can I go to ballet class, Daddy? Teacher says I'm a natural." Because he's all stoned off morphine. It's funny. I mean, there's a lot more funny parts in that, but I just wanted to shoot one of my favorites. Now, I have not seen this, but, you know, when I was a kid, I did like these guys. Not so much now, because, goddamn. I don't like the name of this title, though. And if you guys want to give me any kind of, you know, if you guys seen this, let me know how it is or what it is. Anyways, it's Care Bears Last Laugh. I don't like that title, because Care Bears is all, you know, frivolous and a worry-free world, you know, kind of like Full House in the animated, except you have bears instead of people. You know, because in the world of Full House, nothing goes wrong. Well, things do go wrong, but they always have, the problems are always fixed like that, you know. It's an imaginary world that doesn't exist, because stuff like that would not happen in real life. Anywho, I don't know what it's about. I haven't seen it yet. It is one of those I plan on seeing when I get my shit up and going. Now Michelle got this out of one of the trailers too, and this was part of her childhood, at least, or somewhat part of it. It's a bunch of Sesame Street sing-alongs. You know, this is not my thing, because like I said, any songs with childhood, any kind of media, is cringe. I hate them. Even the Lion King songs, I hate them. I need a swig of water, excuse me. But that's her jam, so be it. We're getting there. Okay, this tape also saw some damage, but it still works. This has you probably can't read it, but this has Simpsons and Voltron on it. I know, what a combination, right? I don't know what episodes I have of either, but like I said, I used to get up 6:30, 6:37 in the morning to record Voltron. So I don't know what's on it, but it has Simpsons episodes and it has, you know, Voltron episodes. So here we go. All right. I've not seen this as a kid, but remember when I told you my work would carry shit for $2? So it's unopened. It's a reprint, obviously, of a collector's. It's a collector's edition. It says right there. Anyways, it's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Basically, it's about humans finding aliens. I think near the end of the movie, and I think they have to some scientific nonsense goes through. I have not seen this since I was 7, so I don't remember it too much. I just remember at the end they finally meet aliens. That's it. But it has some if memory serves me though, it has some suspense in it and some mystery that it may take you in. This is considered a classic by many. I'm probably the wrong person to explain this because I'm not that big of a movie buff, but like say James Rolfe, excuse me. But it's a Steven Spielberg movie, of course, so it's gonna be good. It has a lot of mystery and suspense, and then at the of course most of you've seen this, and it also has music by John Williams. I mean, he's a classic. He's no Bill Conti, but he's still a classic. So it's well worth your time. I have not seen this since I was 7. I just remember it's in bits and pieces of it, and I remember it being good. I watched it with my dad, and he liked it too. So now this movie is considered shit by many. I kind of found it interesting for the suspense aspect of it. It stars Vince Vaughn and John Travolta and Terry Pold. It's Domestic Disturbance. It's basically John Travolta is basically Terry Pold's character. I don't remember her name. I would read the back of the box, but it would take forever. But John Travolta. Okay, so it's John Travolta's character. Yeah, Frank Morrison. I wonder if he. Never mind. Basically, the kid's the problem, and every time something happens to the kid, it's usually Vince Vaughn is basically that plays the narcissistic father. He beats the kid and shit, or does things to him. Now, he tries to tell his parents, but they don't listen. But the only person that listens is his dad, his real dad, John Travolta's character Frank. And yeah, there's some pretty real moments in there, like when his kid had a mark on him, so he went to school to confront him about it, but they weren't there or something. And then this one guy's like, "Don't get involved, Frank," and he's like, "Mind your business." And the guy's like, "Well, what if I do make it my business?" Pow! One punch in the face. That was great. A lot of people hated this movie. They said it was just cut dry, boring, everything you could figure out on your own, and that could be true, but it's still entertaining. I thought it was. My ex-girlfriend had 2 copies of it, and she gave me the other copy, so I appreciate that. That's probably the only thing about her that I can remember that was actually worth a shit. And I haven't opened this one either. And as you can see, it still has a price tag on it. Men in Black. Of course, we all know what Men in Black is. It's basically Will Smith and, I can't remember the other character's name. Forgive me for my ignorance. Tommy Lee Jones. There we go. Fighting aliens, using cool weapons like lasers and shotguns and shit. And they basically are trying to... Their job is basically to keep the aliens under control. And they're going AWOL against humanity. And they have to basically tone down. There's a lot of fun. I've seen that in the theater. It was a lot of fun. The movie was fun. It had a lot of fun aspects into it. It'll keep you at the edge of your seat. And there's some one-liners that will crack you up. I really like the special effects in it, even though it was late 90s and special effects weren't as praised as much as they were before then. Because back when Jurassic Park came out in 1993, yeah, people were like, wow, that CG is that's unreal. And it was at the time, but now it's overused and it sucks. It's lost its fun. And Men in Black, good stuff. A bad movie. Well, it has some funny parts in it, that's for sure. This is Jason X. Some people call it Jason 10. It could very well be. But yeah, Jason gets this kind of cybernetic suit near the end of the movie, and he looks badass, I have to say. But it's one of those, why? And it's also the last movie that can't remember his name. Like I said, ignorance is bliss. Remember, see if I can find Kane Hodder. There we go. This was Kane Hodder's last Jason film, and funny parts in it. There's 2 of them. The beginning where he puts that bitch's face in it freezes her over. What is that shit called? Fuck me. Anyways, smashes her head against the counter after it freezes her face. That's fucking funny. And then the other part is a callback to Friday 13th Part 7, where that bitch gets her head smashed against a tree trunk after being zipped up. Well, Jason's put in like in a CG simulation mode. And what he does is zips up one, because okay, first the girls are like, you want to smoke some pot? You want some premarital sex? We love premarital sex. And then literally like 2 seconds later, that headless chick, can't remember her name either, where she's like, oh, he's done with the chicks, or one of the guys like, oh, he's done with the chicks already, and she's like, damn, he's quick. And what he was doing, they had them both zipped up in the sleeping bags, and when he was beating the shit out of her, it was like, poof, poof, poof. That was hilarious. But as a Jason flick, it's really bad. I mean, come to think of it, Jason flicks weren't all that good, if you think about it. It was just watching a guy who hates people because he drowned many years ago and hates humanity for it, so anyone that goes to Crystal Lake or around the range of Crystal Lake gets their life ended. Okay, I didn't see this yet. I wanted to see this when it came out, but I didn't get a chance. Because I believe it was Generations, but I never got to see First Contact. It's Star Trek First Contact. I haven't had a chance to watch this. This is also one I really want to watch when I get my shit hooked up. Because I really like the Star Trek movies. I liked it better than the series. Next Generation was okay. Deep Space Nine was garbage, and so is Voyage. Okay? I'm not a Trekkie, no. I don't even like Star Wars all that much. I like the original trilogy, and that's as far as I go with Star Wars. The new shit can fuck off, and the prequels can fuck off. Okay, this was given to me by Ricky. Well, the truth is, he let me borrow it, but he never wanted it back. That was the thing about Ricky. He was weird. He'd let you borrow shit, but he wouldn't want it back. It's weird. Anyways, this has both He-Man, the original Masters of the Universe, and Thundercats. So, and this is like an 8-hour tape. I would play this, like, when I would go to bed. This would be like one of the tapes I would watch while I went to sleep. Because, I don't know, I was just one of those guys that like just put in a tape, let it play at a low volume, and it would help me go to sleep. I don't know, it's weird. I don't like to sleep with lights off most of the time, or just the lights off and quiet, because when it's too quiet, yeah, the mind tends to wander and anxiety tends to build. I can't do it. Sorry. I have to have some sound. Now, I never got a chance to watch the sequel yet of this movie, but I have it, so when I get around to it, I will. And it also costs $2. Men in Black 2. I never got a chance to see this one, nor did I see the third one, which is unfortunate. But I do tend to correct that sometime in the near future. I heard it's more of the same, but better. So, I'll just have to live with that. Deuce Bigalow Male Gigolo. Much better than European Gigolo. The sequel. This one was a lot better. Of course, we all know with sequels, sequels always fall apart. It has Rob Schneider. He was one of those overused actors that they had back in the 2000s, like Adam Sandler. And it's not their fault. Really, it's not. It's the people that chose it. They have talent, for sure, but the scripts suck. The humor's not all that good. So, unfortunately, their names were tainted, because even South Park threw in a joke about Rob Schneider being in so many movies. Like, Rob Schneider and... Because that was back when Stan was diagnosed as Asperger's and he was cynical about everything. South Park has... it was good for like maybe 7 or 8 seasons, and then it kind of fell off the cliff. And now it's overly political. I'm done. I won't even... Nah, I'm not even... I have no interest in it whatsoever. Anyways, Deuce Bigalow Male Gigolo is basically... it's about a guy who's just... He cleans tanks, like fish tanks. He's a big fish... He's a fish fanatic. Fish fan. He loves fish. Not necessarily eats them, but he takes care of them and makes sure they're, safe and all that. And, he unfortunately gets fired from his... from a job because he was nude cleaning the fish tank, and kids got to see his pee-pee and all that, and he was explaining why he didn't wear clothes, but they didn't care. They just threw him out of there, and he was on his own. And then he gets himself into a little pickle to where there's this gigolo that he's like, because let me see if I can remember this right. So okay, he found a ad in the paper or in something where it said a cleaner for a koi pond, and unfortunately, I had the mongrel koi. According to him, it's the most dangerous of all goldfish. I had never seen a mongrel coin or Mongolian koi, whatever it was, koi. Anyways, he's cleaning it, and then the gigolo comes up to him. He's like, "Hey, something's wrong with my big fish." He had a lion tail fish or something like that. Anyway, he's sick. He had Malali bloat, I think was how it's pronounced. It's a gill disorder. Anyways, he was Rob's character, Deuce, was all telling him, "Hey, you need," because the guy, he had business to attend to. It's like, I'll be gone for like 3 weeks. He's like, "You better cancel it, pal. You got a sick fish here." And well, he says he can't. And then he's like, "What?" He's also saying, "What about you, huh?" And he's all like, "Oh, I can't. My passport." And what the guy basically wants him to do is stay and look after his fish. And he was basically explaining the amenities that he has to offer Deuce. But there's a problem with the gigolo. He is very clean. He's very clean. He's a clean freak. That if you fuck up anything of his, he'll make you pick it up or do it using unconventional means. Like when TJ, I forgot the actor's name. He mentioned he dropped a cigar ash on his rug, and he was like, "He made me pick it up with my anus." So yeah. Sounds like a little clean freak. Anyway, Deuce meets all these chicks and because he ends up breaking the tank that the lion tail fish is in, and basically he plays as a gigolo to earn the money to rebuild the tank. That's the plot, and it's a lot of fun. It's funny. It's got a lot of one-liners, and it's hilarious. I mean, honestly, I recommend the movie to anybody that has a sense of humor, except if you're a snowflake. But then again, I don't know what kind of comedy snowflakes watch. I guess anything that's in theaters right now, huh? So yeah, good movie. Or great movie, should I say. This was also, this was another borrowed from Ricky's, but he never wanted it back. I have the whole series now on DVD. You saw that in my DVD video. Legend of Zelda, Sing for the Unicorn. So it has 2 episodes on there. Singing the Unicorn's one, I can't remember the other, and the label's coming off. That's nice. I'll glue that one back on as well as Alice in Wonderland. So, yeah. It also has like the live action of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show where you had Lou Albino and What's His Nuts as Luigi, and I mean, it's my childhood, goddammit. But I was always, hey, like I always told Ricky, you ever want your shit back, just say something, or sometimes I'll mention it, and then he'll never want it back. So it's like, okay, well, you can't tell people I stole your shit. Anyways, the next movie, this one unfortunately has it's a director's cut, but unfortunately it has Spanish subtitles in it. I bought this from work as well. Now a lot of people hate this movie, but I thought it was okay. It wasn't great. The CG effects were awful, or bloody awful. I did like the cape effects of Spawn though, and yes, of course, it's a live action Spawn movie. Not a very good movie. The CG was like when we see Malbosia, that was terrible. I did think the special effects with Violator was pretty good though, but this didn't do it justice. Just pretend this doesn't exist and go for the HBO cartoon one. Now they've been talking for years about bringing that back, either finishing it or rebooting it. I wish they would make up their fucking mind. Especially, I would like it to see it continue. Even though, I mean, come on, 1998. I mean, it's almost been like, what, 30 years now? Like, in 2028 will be like 30 years since it launched. I think it was 98. It was either 97 or 98 because, I remember I was stoned when it first premiered, and it was really good. And it was fun to watch when you're stoned, too. A friend gave this to me because he bought the DVD, and it's one of my favorite and probably well-dubbed animes of all time. Ninja Scroll. This is a damn good movie. This is pretty much what kicked me off in my little interest with anime. Because I saw this at a friend's house, and I saw, a bunch of tits and ass and gore, blood spraying everywhere. Awesome movie. Stars, the protagonist's name is Jubei Kibagami, and he's basically a mercenary ninja. He works on his own, And he gets paid for whatever the hit is or for whatever quest is on the table. Now, they made this into a series, and unfortunately, the series was crap. And that's kind of a shame, because I could have seen this get better. Now, unfortunately, they made it was marketed as a sequel, but it had nothing to do with this Jubei at all. You may have known it was called Ninja Resurrection. It had nothing to do with this. Nothing. But they marketed, like the word ninja, you see how it's written? They took Ninja Resurrection and made the same font as this. And they marketed it as a sequel. No, it wasn't Jubei Kikubayama. It was like Jubei Yamaguchi or something like that. Right. And that was unfinished because it wasn't popular. It was like 6 episodes. It was literally like some devils or some bad guy versus Christians. That right there is fine. That right there, I have no problem with that. In fact, the ending of that particular episode is one of the most goring, and it actually disturbed me a little bit. I was like, wow, that's nightmare fuel for me. But, yeah, it was really, but on top of that, it was really bad. Really bad. I never see this one either, but I was a fan of this growing up, at least this character and all that. It's probably just like a collaboration of some of the best episodes. I could be wrong. But it's Scooby-Doo Greatest Mysteries. Now, I like Scooby-Doo as a kid, kind of. I wasn't big on it. If it was on, I would watch it, you know. I wasn't like, oh, dude, we got to turn on the TV. Scooby-Doo's on. No. I wasn't that guy. And the reason is because some of it, I'm sorry, it was boring. But I did like Scooby-Doo's character, and I do like how Shaggy was, come on, he was a stoner. And he was a lovable stoner. And he was voiced by Casey Kasem in the original series. Rest in peace. You don't know who Casey Kasem is? He did this top 50 or top 25, and he was always on with the countdown on the radio. And they also, he even had a cameo in Ghostbusters, the first one, where Dana's listening to the radio, and yeah, he's in there. You hear his voice, and he says "on with countdown." So I guess that's how I remember it, because I watched Ghostbusters way too much in my lifetime. My mom got me this for Christmas one year because she heard me talking about it with some friends of mine. And I mentioned I wish I owned the movie, and she found this for $10 at Walmart. Terminator Collection. Now this came out before, obviously there's no Terminator 3. Because this was released in 2002, and I believe Terminator 3 was what, 2003? Yeah, and I have that on DVD anyway, so it's no biggie. I also have T2 because T2 is such a great film. I don't mind buying it again a second time, but I'm not going to buy it a third time because, like I said, I have no interest in Blu-ray. To me, it's just a little bit prettier than the DVD. I don't really give a shit. But you do you. And it also has Terminator 1, which I didn't own, so that was a plus. So yeah, I watch these from time to time. Well, I watched the first one from time to time. 2, I watched the DVD version because it's the full uncut version. The one I have, I'm pretty sure all of them were uncut, but I could be wrong. Alright, it's nighttime now. Some time has passed. Reason is personal matters. Well, more like matters within these walls. There's Mogwai. Well, he's over there. Let me see if I get the camera. Oh, he's gonna make a mess now. You gonna knock over my VHS tapes? Huh? Mogwai. Anyway, I got this with my Power Glove. I didn't get the box though but yeah, here. It's basically a little guide that tells you how to use the Power Glove, and it has like some secrets and things and tells you how to use it. That thing still doesn't work worth a damn. They should have did more R&D on it, but unfortunately they didn't. It's pretty cool, but I honestly say that the guy in there, the guy in the cover that plays in this video, he talks with this kid. He talks like the Power Glove is like just the second coming of Christ, or Allah's return. Shit like that. It's fucking crazy. So, I'm sorry, Mogwai, I'm busy. He wants daddy time. But, I'm sorry, baby. You're gonna have to go lay down or something. I'm busy. I know. It's depressing. He looks at the kid, though. The dude looks like a kid. Like a creeper. Like, his eyes are, like, fixed up. Cat. Am I gonna have to film this last part of this video with you wanting pet-ins? Probably. Anyways, he looks at him like a creeper, and it's like, no. It's like, get off me. Speaking of get off me, but he won't. Here's Mogwai. Looks like somebody wants daddy time, so time for a jump cut. Okay, well, now that he's fucked off, we can continue. Yes, my friend recorded me Transformers the movie, G.I. Joe the movie, and Technoman, or the Technoman movie. Technoman was a Tatsunoko production, really good stuff. I like this. I need to find the entire series and actually either buy it or go to a service and watch it, because it's really good. But anyways, it's as you can see, it's recorded. I mean, there's no label on the front, but yeah. We would go to this place. I can't remember where it was, but there was this place that would sell Maxwell and another company, and they would sell 8-hour tapes. And so that's why we always got the silver ones, because they seemed to work just fine for what we were trying to do. Okay, I don't need to explain this. Sex Ring International. It's a porn. Can't tell you what's on it, but because I haven't watched some of those porns in years. Another homemade tape, and it's for one. It's basically Simpsons, video games, etc. So basically, this has a bunch of Simpsons and gameplay footage. I used to like to record myself playing gameplay footage, just for like laughs. Like I would do like pilot wings. Like I would fly around as Birdman and like crash my ass everywhere. I'd also do that with the hang glide. I used to crash and just flip around and hear. I like what was his name, Goose. He always screams. He's like, hey! He sounds like he's in fucking agony. So some of those I'm gonna have to watch and like basically, you know, just to reflect and remember. Because I did when I first got my own VCR way back in the day. I felt like the world was mine. Like I could record anything I wanted, and most of the time I did. Now this is unfortunate. See, now this is an anime called Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp. You know, you can see that it has an anime look to it because my friend had this. This ain't the same copy he had. No, this is a totally different copy. And I'm like, oh cool, I remember watching this at my buddy's house. But then I opened it up and I got disappointed. It just says Aladdin on it. It's a totally different Aladdin. It's not the same one that you see on here. And I was disappointed at it. Because this one's made by EDDF Entertainment. It's not made by Media, and it made me sad. Because I liked that one. There was literally a part in that movie, unless I fucking am deaf, that one of the when Aladdin meet up with his friends, because he had friends in this one, and I could swear to God one of his friends said, "Fuck you, slime." I mean, unless I'm deaf. Now, if you guys seen that version of the movie, you know, let me know if that's what I heard. It was probably something completely different. But holy fuck, did that tripped me out. I was like, dude, it said "fuck you, slime." It's a kid's flick. I have no idea what this one is. There's no label on it anymore, so that's unfortunate. Like I said, I'm gonna make labels for those, and maybe I can like make a revisit video and be like, "Hey guys, remember the ones I had no labels on? I made labels for them. This is what they are." I can do that. Let me know in the comments, obviously. Okay, so, oh boy. Okay, this is like if NYC, the website, no, YNC website made a VHS tape. Because you have South Park. Then you have The Best of Jenny McCarthy, Playboy. Penthouse Lingerie, also Playboy. And Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, all in one VHS tape. So you have your funnies, then you have your fapping sessions, and then you have Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which is funny as well, but gory too. Not real gory, but it's gory enough. Alright, this one has... Oh yeah, this I can't remember if it was Ricky or one of my other friends that let me borrow this, and he never asked for it back. The reason for this is because I don't have Jurassic Park. Well, I do now, it's on here. It has Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, classic. Jurassic Park, hell yeah. And another classic by Tim Burton, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Because I never saw that before. And he had both. He had Jurassic Park. I wanted Jurassic Park. He's like, oh, I have a tape without it. And then I was like, oh, The Nightmare Before Christmas. I never saw it. And he's like, he hands it to me. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember the person. I'm sorry. It was so long ago. But yeah, it has all those movies on there, and they're all recorded and good quality, and yeah, for VHS standards anyway. We're getting near done, guys. We got just a few tapes left. Oh, this one I recorded 2 movies on it. Night, because like I said, I had Showtime. Night at the Roxbury and Varsity Blues. Both are classic films. I know a lot of people don't care for Night at the Roxbury. They think it's stupid. But, you know, that's what made it good. One of my favorite parts in the movie was, he's like, Dewey, did you just grab my ass? And he's like, from where I'm standing, sir, that's a physical impossibility. And he's like, and Mr. Zadier's like, I know your tricks, Dewey. I don't know why that was funny to me. Another funny part was when Steve Butabi's all like having a panic attack about not being able to get in the Roxbury at the beginning of the movie. And he's all having a panic, and then Doug, played by, what's his name, Steve Catan, something Catan. Anyways, he holds, what's his name? He's all like, come on, think puppies, think pancakes. And then there's this hot chick walking by, and he's like, hey, hot lady, what's going on? She throws her whatever, I guess it was I'm bad with words tonight. I want to say Slurpee, but that's not right. Her, fuck me. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. Oh. Adventures in Babysitting. This was a great movie. The reason why it was great is, you know, not only do you have the guy who plays as, what is his name? Let's see if I can find his name. I can't find his name. Well, first of all, you have the hottie Elizabeth Shue, who still looks good today. Very smashable. If I ever was given the opportunity, you know, I'm a fat fuck. And she's probably married too and all that. Yeah, I mean, I'm married too, but still, I mean, I think the wife would let me. Because I remember this one time I mentioned, I'm like, I want to fuck her. Elvira. I was like, you know what? If I had a chance, I'd fuck her. And she's like, I'd let you. Okay, thanks, son. Appreciate that. Anyways, you have Elizabeth Shue in here, and you have the guy that played it as Gomer Pyle in Full Metal Jacket. He plays as the Thor character because, you know, Thor was that little girl's fantasy to meet him, and she thinks he was real, and then it turns out in the movie he's actually real. Anyways, like the name implies, they go on like a lot of adventures and go places, and a lot of funny shit and cool shit happens. It's a fun ass movie to watch. I mean, I can't think of a time I popped this in and didn't want to watch it. I mean, obviously you pop in a movie when you want to watch it, but you know, even if you were at a friend's house or something, they're like, we're watching Adventures of Babysitting. I'd be like, score! Give this fat ass a place to sit. I'm gonna watch Adventures of Babysitting with Elizabeth Shue. But basically, yeah, they go on adventures just like the name implies, and like a lot of cool and fun shit happens. It's really dope. I like the part where the little girl meets Thor because her eyes are just bright, and she's just like, wow, Thor, he's dope. I mean, if Thor is a real person, I'm pretty sure some of you would be all happy to meet him too, I'm pretty sure. Here's Fatal Fury to the New Battle. It's basically the sequel to the first OVA, which is, I think, The Legend of the Hungry Wolf. And it's just as, you have Terry, Andy, Mai Shiranui, Joe Higashi, and all them, and they want to fight against Krauser. So basically it follows the kind of the storyline of the second Fatal Fury game, but they add, like, elements to it to make it more interesting of a plot point. And there's a lot of stuff that's not canon with the game, but still what they did add in here was pretty dope. And I don't know who does the voice of Krauser, but he has a really deep German voice, and it sounds very cool and authentic and awesome. It's a good movie. Like I said, the first one is probably the worst because first of all, Andy's hair in the first movie is silver. Why would you do that? Piece of shit on me. I mentioned this earlier. Yeah, Delta Force. Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin. This is one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. You know, like I said, I got a friend named Andy. He's been he raised his kids off of shit we watched as kids, like Rambo, Delta Force, Indiana Jones. Not this fucking pussy shit that kids are being raised on now, which is disgusting. But yeah, this movie is really dope. It has a lot of action in it. It has a good story. I mean, it's basically balls to the wall, masculine, shit. It's dope. I mean, there's not much I can say other than that. There's a lot of action in it, and then there's a lot of explosions. So if you like that kind of shit, and one of the VHSs fell on my tape or fell on my foot, it fucking hurts like hell. Ow. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm just looking at the back as I'm trying to remember. Like, I haven't watched it in years, to be honest with you, like years. But yeah, it kind of reminds me. If I had to like say what it reminds me of, I apologize for that noise. My heater's loud. If I had to basically put down anything of what it reminds me of, this reminds me of like a side movie of the Chuck Norris movie Missing in Action. You have a hostage situation, you have a lot of war going on, and he has to save the hostages. It's almost like Missing in Action, but different plot points and different action and shot sequences. And so if you like Missing in Action, which I did because there's the Vietnamese strippers, the ones that are dancing naked in the background. Yeah, I used to fap to that when I was 14. Don't judge me, but but yeah, there's that. It's a good movie. I really do like the Delta Force, and honestly, it's a movie I wish they would come back. And unfortunately, this one has no. Okay, obviously, I taped over it at some point. This had to have been something, because this is how you would delete movies you hated growing up. You put a piece of tape over that part, or snap the tab off, and then put a piece of tape over it, and then guess what? You can record whatever you fucking want on that VHS. I got a story to tell when it comes to that. Let me grab the next movie and I'll tell you about it. I'll put it over here. This is also a classic of the old Disney. I look forward to showing. I had a friend back in the day. I think, it was my friend Roger, the Commodore guy. He had a tape of some like kid shows, right? The show his nieces and nephews that were younger than him. He taped over that with some of his uncle's porn. And I remember that me and my brother were over there playing, we weren't playing Commodore, we were playing NES at the time. Because he just got one, I think a couple weeks ago prior to that. And his mother's like, Roger, get your ass in here. And me and my brother were like, oh damn, what happened? We didn't have a part in it, She's like, explain this shit to me. And then I was like, I'm interested to see what's going on. So I tipped. I've seen some fucking dude with a fro, and like a white guy, just smashing the shit out of this blonde. And I'm like, there's porn. And she's like, why is there this kind of content? You don't show your nieces and nephews this. And he's like, Mom, they're gonna learn about it someday anyways. She's like, that's not the point. The point is that they shouldn't be looking at this at this age. Why did you do this? He's like, I didn't do it. She's like, oh yeah? Then why are you sounding so calm about it? Because he's like, because I didn't. Why would I? And then he got ratted out about an hour later when his uncle came home and said, yeah, he borrowed a couple of my tapes and I didn't know he took the porn. I guess that's what he did with it. He was grounded for a month. Oh, Roger, you were a trip. I miss you, brother. You were a fun guy to hang out with. Oh, that's for after. Okay. Robin Hood, Disney's Robin Hood. This is a reprint, obviously, because the old tapes, I think, were white, memory serves me. Anyways, this classic movie. And funny thing is the opening theme is what a guy is singing, that little tune. That's the hamster dance song sped up. I'm not kidding. You can find this shit on YouTube. There's plenty of it. Maybe I'll go ahead and link that in the description as well. So yeah, Robin Hood's really good. It's basically Robin Hood's a Fox character. Basically, it's a furry rendition. You can call it that. It's still good though. I mean, this is before furries were even a thing, like in terms of the sexual aspect of furries. Ugh. Cringe. Ugh. Yuck. Anyways, yeah. So it's basically like the story goes. Robin Hood steals from the rich and gives to the poor, and some cool shit happens. He has good archery skills. It's great animation. Does it mention the name, or does it mention the year it was released in? No, it does not, unfortunately. That sucks. Great to watch with your family, though. If you like animated classics. or even if you like to watch anime classics in general. As you notice, I have a lot of animation and a lot of classics, because I love classic Disney. I hate them now. They can go fuck off a cliff. They're one of those companies that could die and I wouldn't shed a tear because of the shit they pulled over these last few years with woke culture. Get rid of it. It's cancerous to everybody. Now this, I was so happy to find at my video store. Now, unfortunately, I don't think they have the sticker on there. It's on there, but it's faded. That fucking label came off. God damn it. These things do not last forever. I'm going to put the label back on, stick it back in the box. I'm going to have to get some super glue. Like I said, this is the most raw, unscripted video. I know it's all over the place, but if you're still here, awesome. If you're not, I understand. TMNT, the original series, Heroes in the Half Shell. This is the first 5 episodes. And it basically shows the origin, well, not origin, but it shows how the animated series started off. Like, you get the first 5 episodes, you know, you got Uncle Phil or James Avery as Shredder, and then you have the rest of the cast. I mean, this is, everyone's like, oh, it's crap now. No, it's still fun to watch, man. It brings back those good feels. That could be nostalgia, but I still think it brings good feels in terms of if you like animation. Speaking of good feels and animation of my childhood, Dennis the Menace from the cartoon Memory Mayhem. This has about 6 episodes on there. It says it's movie exclusives. I don't know what that means. But yeah, this was made when I was 5, 1987. I used to love Dennis the Menace because he would fucking constantly piss off Mr. Wilson. That was the thing. And they made a live action movie of that, I believe, in 1994. And that was really good. It had what was his name? Robert Matthau? Something Matthau. I don't remember his first name. So yeah, you have that in the cartoon form, which was funny. He always pissed the shit off of Mr. Wilson and fucked him up. He was a troll, basically. I don't know if it was intentional either. It doesn't seem that way. But the live action movie, he actually made Dennis cry. That was depressing. But then again, Dennis kind of deserves that, though, because he was a fucking troll. Anyway. I'm just going to show the tape, and I'm going to put it to the side. Tail taggers. Yes, it's anal sex porn. You happy? Yeah, a friend bought this for me because we rented it and I loved it. Now he bought it for me because he got it for like $1. Like literally, I want to say maybe a month after the movie was released. I don't know where he got it from for $1. I'm not gonna ask questions, but he's like, "Hey, I got you something that you really like." It's not another teen movie. It's basically a parody of a bunch of those movies with teens in it and such. Like there's one of Varsity Blues and The Breakfast Club, and parodies of teen movies when they're in school and such. And they mesh it all together to where it comes to be a very fun and entertaining film. I really like this movie. It's a lot of fun. It made me laugh a few times. And it's rated R, so you better be 18 or older if you want to watch that shit, unless your parents don't give a fuck. That's besides the point. Anyway. Alright, so we got about 4 or 5 left. Yes. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. I did not buy this. I got it from one of the trailers that, again. Anyways, it stars Jim Carrey, and there was the first one, which was Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and basically he has the ability to talk to animals and interact with them on a personal level, and he gets into a bunch of shenanigans. And one of my favorite parts is when the dude who plays as Abadisi in the Oz series, which was one of the best characters in that series. Oz is good. It's a prison drama. You should watch it. It's really good. Anyway, there's a part in there where he's like, he was getting arrested for something. I don't exactly remember from the top of my head, but he's like, I just got one thing to say to you. He's like, easy boo boo doo doo, easy boo doo doo doo, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And apparently he was calling an elephant, and an elephant tramples the guard, and he got away. But I also like when he grabbed that one guy, that old guy that got knocked out, and he was like making his gums flap. And he was like, "Do not pass go. Do not collect $200." My brother laughed so hard he almost passed out. That part for him was funny as fuck. It's funny as fuck to me. But for him, it was just the bee's knees. Anyways, if you like Jim Carrey and you like the first movie, you'll definitely like Nature's Call. When Nature Calls. Another part I like is we hear White Zombie before he goes inside a monster truck. That was pretty dope. And also we got the alrighty then. That was cool too. I like that movie. Okay, this is a weird combination, but okay. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. This is Simpsons, Zelda, and Home Improvement. And what Zelda asked, it was Ocarina of Time, because I wanted to. I recorded the final battle. Because, see, I had a lot of my friends were a bunch of PlayStation fanboys, Sony fanboys, which are the worst of the worst. Then, anyways, now I kind of see Nintendo fanboys being shit now. Like I said, I'm not a fanboy of either. I use a PC, I'm happy with that. I don't need a console these days. I do have a Switch, but I barely play it. With that being said, yeah, so it has a bunch of Simpsons episodes, and of course me fighting the final battle on Ocarina of Time, or whatever. And of course some Home Improvement episodes, because I'm a big fan of Home Improvement. Tim Allen is hilarious. I also like the subtle sex jokes they got in that show, so if you guys need to watch that. I know it sounds like okay, it's one of those stupid 90s sitcoms. It's not stupid. If you like whatchamacallit, give me a minute to think. If you like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you'll like Home Improvement. I mean, it's not in the same vein, but it has almost the same kind of humor aspects in it. So, there's that. This one has, let's see. Oh, I do have Spaceballs. Okay. This has a lot of shit. Fuck me. It has, there's this, okay, and I think it was filmed in Europe mostly. They had this video series. It was 2 tapes. It was called Just Kidding. And basically it was just pranks. Bunch of pranks. I think most of them were scripted, but some of them were not. And, it was just people fucking with people, like with whoopee cushions. The one I love the best, though, is the guy that runs up to people, starts talking to them, and then he cuts their tie off and then runs away. And you, see the look on their face. They look fucking pissed off. They're all chasing, you can see, their veins popping out of their head, and just this rage face, and it's almost like Swiggity Swooty, I'm coming for that booty. But not quite. Yeah, that was funny. There's a lot of pranks in that. Of course, then there's Spaceballs. Anyways, I'll show the label. I labeled it myself. You can tell because it looks like dog shit. I got Spaceballs because Spaceballs is awesome. It's a parody of Star Wars, and who can forget Dark Helmet, man? Rick Moranis. I still like the part where they're watching the tape. It's like they're watching the tape of Spaceballs, the movie, right? And that used to weird me out as a kid. It's like, okay, here's the movie. They're watching the movie. Was the movie finished? But I mean, it's explained in the movie, but it's not. That's not real because it's all parody. Anyways, there's this part where Dark Helmet, when they go ludicrous speed, and he flies in the console, and his helmet's all bent up, and he's like, "How you doing? How you, sir? Fine. You? We're just fine, sir. Okay. Are we stopped? Yeah, we're stopped, sir. Okay, then. Let's take a 5-minute break. All right. Sounds good, sir. Smoke 'em if you got 'em." And who can forget Yogurt? Yogurt was... I wanted that fucking flamethrower. False advertising. I'm suing these motherfuckers. And the bootleg Jawas. That was funny. Okay, I got 2 more here, and then, like I said, I got more at home to get. I can tell you those movies, or those VHS tapes that I have that I forgot to bring over, which I will. They're just sitting there. We were trying to get done before the sun went down. It didn't happen. Because, God, I mean, I showed, just look. Just look. Yeah, I know, my fat stomach, there you go. But yeah, just look. I got so much shit. I gotta get my entertainment center here to put all the shit in it. Alright. Now, this is a tape some people got if they were Nintendo fans. It's hot news, insider guy. It basically showed Donkey Kong Country and Jet Force Gemini. Jet Force Gemini is a good game, even though I will never beat it because that fucking collecting all those fucking bootleg koala bear motherfuckers. No, I will not do that because you have to collect every single one of them in order to see the ending of the game. I don't have that kind of patience. That's, to me, that's a game-breaking aspect, and for them doing that, Rare should be ashamed of themselves. And of course, you got Donkey Kong 64, which I'm not a fan of because you have to. Well, first of all, it's boring. Second, you collect everything, and that gets old very fast. And third of all, I hate that fucking theme song. Donkey Kong, he's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. I'd rather kill myself. Right. And the last one I have to show, unfortunately, because the other ones aren't home, is Captain Powerade on Volcania. Now, these were game tapes, meaning you had a little, it was a gun, or it looked like a gun, it was a fighter plane, right? And you used that to basically shoot these flashy parts on the screen on some of the enemies, quote unquote. And then after that part would be done, if you didn't lose. Now, when you lose, your guy gets ejected from the plane. I mean, there's nothing to stop you to put him back in the plane and restart the unit and play some more. But it was stupid. Those game tape things were stupid. But when I was a kid, I was like, yay! You know, I was 5 years old, I think. What was this made? 87? Yeah, copyright 1987. Yeah, I was 5 years old, man. When you're 5, shit like that was dope. So, you know, you shoot that, and then it would say check PowerPoints. You would press the back, and how many beeps you got was how much score you got for that round. And there was like 4 or 5 rounds, or stages. And, you know, you would never get a game over screen or nothing like that. Game over is when the flashing parts of the enemy fire, they would light, I think, a yellow, and then targets you could hit were red, or it could be the other way around. Anywho, there's 2 sensors. There was one that would the sensor where you hit the enemies and you get points. There was another one where the sensor would come back to ship, and those were known as hit points. If you got hit, like, I guess 3 times, you can't really tell because it doesn't beep or nothing when you get hit, at least not from memory. Your guy would fly out of the ship. Literally, he would eject. And yeah, that was it. I was 5 years old, man. I thought it was dope. I don't have that ship anymore. It got lost in passage of time, just like a lot of things. So for the ones I don't have, there's one called Dockin' Through the Night. It was basically a videotape of the band Dockin' from the 80s who kick ass. And it was just filming them going to tours and going on camera and just talking about the musical aspects and things. And I think it was called Through the Night. No, I think it was called something. I don't remember. Anyway, so yeah, and there's this one part that was really cool where the guy, the drummer, I think it was, or the guitarist, I can't remember his name. He was all like, you know, when you're on a plane, you want to be high or drunk, but fortunately, I'm both right now, so I'm feeling pretty good. I was like, yeah, I've been down that road myself later on in life. I mean, I was getting high. I wasn't getting drunk at the time when I first watched this VHS tape that I got from my friend Mike Maples. But yeah. I have Howard the Duck, which everyone hated. I liked it. And you got duck tits, first of all. I can't beat that. And then if you're into that sort of thing. And you got a lot of just wacky 80s-ness to it. I mean, it feels good to watch. It's a lot of fun. Everyone hates it, though, and I don't understand why. It's not bad. I've seen worse. I mean, shit. I can't really... let me think. Mac and Me. That sucked. That was worse than Howard the Duck. That was basically a McDonald's commercial. I like it for nostalgia's sake, but I've watched it recently, and memory is not a kind thing sometimes. There's that. Let's see, I have Tommy Boy with David Spade and Chris. Fuck, can't think of his name right now. Chris Farland. Yeah. Fuck me, I'm bad with names today. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, basically that's about, there's a kid named Tommy. He graduates from high school almost takes him a decade because he's retarded. And he goes to his father's shop, which is Callahan's Auto, and basically is going to work at his father's shop until he can figure out it. And unfortunately, his father passes away during his fake funeral because you find out later that he's been tricked and basically takes over Callahan. I basically explained that in just just a couple minutes. What else do I have? I actually have a copy of G.I. Joe the movie. It's in its case and everything. I got the re-release, unfortunately. I've always wanted it originally released. Now, fun fact about G.I. Joe the movie. That was supposed to be in theaters, but seeing how Transformers the movie flopped, the original, which I can't see why, it was good. It had great voice work and actors. You had Robert Stack, Weird Al Yankovic. I mean, the Dare to Be Stupid song that was in it. Yeah, it's some great. The soundtrack of that fucking movie is awesome. But yeah, Instruments of Destruction is still my favorite song off of that. So there's that. Yeah, so what they did is they made it for a made-for-TV movie. They split it in 5 parts, and the host before every part was Sergeant Slaughter, the real Sergeant Slaughter, the wrestler, and he also played the voice of the character Sergeant Slaughter on the show. So that was cool. And that would be it. That is my VHS collection in a nutshell. There's a lot of shit here. Final thoughts. It's many years of collecting, many years of recording. It's nice that we have little things in terms of technology to record things on for memory's sake. I honestly know that digital is the best way to go for probably all these tapes. If I eventually get because even the family man that helped me out the other day, he's like, you need to get yourself a digital VHS to digital converter, and I do want to do that, and I need to get myself like a 7 terabyte drive to back all this shit up on. That'd be cool. That way I wouldn't have to worry about popping them in my VCR, and I can watch them on my computer or tablet or something. I would have different means of doing it. Do I suggest collecting VHS tapes today? It depends. It depends on you. A lot of people refuse because they do take up some space. I mean, they're like half the size of a fucking Wii. You put 2 of them together, I mean, that's pretty much the size of the Wii, other than a little bit. The Wii has a little bit more length to it. But they do take up a lot of space, unlike DVDs. DVDs and Blu-rays and all that, they're thinner, easy to. I mean, if you look behind me, you got my GameCube and my Wii games. You notice how they fit nicely in a bookshelf, and it looks nicer. Cartridges, as you can see, are kind of an eyesore, depending on how you stack them. Now, I like how I have my carts stacked. I think they look, beautiful for what they are, and for what they are and everything. But to some people, it can be an eyesore. So it could be a aesthetic look upon that, on how you feel about that. So I don't find them to be an eyesore. To me, they look like relics. It kind of like books. Books. Like I got bookcase for not books but games. But it has that same premise, that same logic behind it. You put them together and they look great. I mean, especially if you have movies with the box, it looks nice. They look like little booklets on the side of the wall. I mean, I got some movies with boxes, obviously, some with not boxes. You can buy boxes. You can even make your own boxes if you know what you're doing. So there are ways around it. But that, like I said, it all depends on you. I mean, if you're one of those whores that has to have everything at 4K or 1080p, you have to have everything HD and looking clean because you're a snob, then VHS is not for you. But for people like myself who don't care, as long as you can watch it and it looks fine enough, or just the nostalgia of popping in a VHS tape and pressing play and watching as it goes, and hopefully your tape doesn't get caught in the fucking the heads of the goddamn VCR. The struggle is real, fams. Same thing happened with cassette tapes. They would get, if they didn't have the clean headers on there, it would get stuck, and sometimes you would ruin tapes. I lost a lot of great tapes for that. I lost my Offspring, Ixnay and the Hombre, Van Halen 3, which I really don't care. That was terrible. Bark at the Moon by Ozzy Osbourne, and Nine Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine. I lost all those because they got caught in a tape player. So, but I have most of those on DVD now. Or not DVD, excuse me, CDs. So that's okay. Or I have them digitally, thanks to other means. So there's that. Anyways, I am Foreverretro. I thank you all for watching this extremely long video and just taking a small trip with me, explaining some of these videos that I've collected over the years or made over the years, and I had fun in explaining most of what I could with the best of my ability. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, this is going to be a long ass video. I'm going to try to edit it to correct myself in some parts I got stuck at because my brain's not working right today. Sometimes you just have these days where your brain just doesn't want to do what you want it to do, and it's annoying. So, with that being said, I am Foreverretro 2. I am signing off for now. You guys keep gaming, keep loving, and keep it retro. And if you guys want to tell me about any of these movies you liked, or any VHS stories, or VHS anything, please feel free to let me know. Because I always read comments, and I always, enjoy what you guys have to say. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and put all these back in for now. And I will definitely put more in, or put them back where they belong as soon as I get my fucking entertainment center over here. So, you guys have a great night, and thanks for listening in, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked what you saw and would like to support my channel, please consider being a patron. I'll put your name up with these fine folks who have donated to this channel, and that would be awesome to have you on board. If not, that's entirely up to you. I hope you have a good day and take care.